Yeah. First comes in with first. That's pretty good timing. Well, I was wondering why do people live on, what are people waiting for? What are people waiting for to like, because there are some people, I guess are doing so. What are people waiting? What event are you waiting for to get ready? What do you, and I'm glad that people aren't moving in a super huge fashion like that now, because it would cause panic. So just because how ill prepared people really are, but people are waiting for the apocalypse, right? Isn't that what they're waiting for? Oh my Father, forgive them, for they'll perish for lack of knowledge, won't they? So checking out the farm. What kind of farm you got? You're on a farm? Or you're checking out the farm on the video there? Oh man, I feel like I got something in my boot here. Look at what's going on with this boot here. Cool. Yeah, there's oh, got something in my boot there. Yeah, it's pretty. 40 acres. There's a lot of room out here, and I have the other 20 up the road from here, and the 5 up on the highway. They're up off the CB highway there, and so there's lots of room out here. Took a lot of time to fence a lot of things in. Did that I got a lot of that done during Paradise. Oh man, see, I want to see. That's what I'm saying. Oh gosh, I mean, come on, man, Paradise. I'm gonna get in there. I'm a CB. I love a girl. You're my good girl. Sorry, my little kitten walked by there for a second. I had to say hi to her. I want to say hi to the kitten. Hey, how about the chili bowl? Chili. Now the Texas Roadhouse, right? They drink the Mountain Dew down there too. Looks like to me. Looks like they're drinking Mountain Dew in Texas now, guys. What? Oh my goodness. See, now that's something. Man, that's epic stuff, dude. That's crazy. I mean, oh man. Yeah, I can't wait for this weather to break so I can get the rest of these things I need done. I don't want to be part of none of that. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Man, they ain't playing no more. They ain't playing no more. They are man. Do me, baby. Do me, baby. I'm gonna do a whole video. I'm gonna do a Belle Biv DeVoe. We'll call it Belle Biv. We'll call it Belle Biv DeVoe because nobody's called it that yet. So we'll coin that here tonight. Did Bill Biv the Biv de do? No, okay, yeah, but the Belle Biv DeVoe, right? Do me, baby. That's crazy. I'm still, think about that. How many times have they drank the Mountain Dew? I know Australia, they drank Mountain Dew in Australia. They had a chili bowl. There was living it up in the Hotel California, right? Oh, Paradise, right? So we got okay, and then we had the Smexus with the Texas and the yeah, they're Texas Roadhouse. That's 5. And so I mean, those are ones that I know of for sure. So there's 5. Oh, sorry, my bad. They had the Maui Blast Mountain Dew. 6. Holy smokes. Well, ashes. So, where are you at first? You're on the other side of the state. You're over there on the East Coast, where all those newcomers. They're not they called a state of emergency, didn't they? In New York now, because all those migrants. Dude, it's gonna get so bad so quick, man. I ain't trying to be doom and gloom, but they give some of those people a lot of money. In Texas, Austin, Texas, huh? Texas with the schmexes, as Diamond calls it. Diamond over there at Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News. Shinrin Yoku, he keeps adding more to the channel, doesn't he, old Diamond there? Diamond's way back. He goes way back to he fought the Santo. Yeah, when that all, yep. Some of us have been in this fight a long time. We got decades. Principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness, the rulers in the darkness of this world. So, oh man. So, well, I've definitely, I've come to the conclusion that I can't be in the city anymore. Can't be around all that electronic stuff. It's just, I don't know if I'm getting too old or just too apes. Yeah, there. I can't be around all that electronic stuff. It's just too much. Makes my head all weird and makes my teeth buzz and numb and weird. And oh my goodness. Just the side of the city gets my PTSD going. But my son says it's my weakness now. Just drag him to the city. He won't be worth nothing. So, but yeah, I don't know what people are waiting for, now what event people are waiting for to happen to really start doing something about, at least. I mean, there's just so much going on right now. It's pretty incredible. I don't know how many I don't know how many more people they can smash into this country here. What'd you do there, buds? You knocked down the shovel there, buddy. And they'll keep pouring in. It's been going on for 15, 20 years, so it's not just a couple decades too. Have a very porous border, so. Yeah, I hear you. Me too. I'm always it's always something, man. Always something. One thing leads to another. Yeah. He always puts us through fiery trials. Fiery trials. Yeah. But whatever. Difficult is the path that leads to eternal life. Narrow is the way. Are you gonna go get Sissy? She's playing with the little mouse. I'll say hi, John. You don't get to say hi to her. Or my John O'Donnell. My John O'Don. This is John O'Don. John O'Don. John O'D is my John O'D boy. He's a good kid that I love. He's the biggest kitten boy that's orange in the face. You have an orange face. You do have an orange face there, John O'Donnell. I want him. Boy. You're my good one. You're my good one. I'm a good kitten boy. He's a good boy. Want to get down? You just want to hang with Dad? Or you want to go? All right. Yeah, no, it's all. He pulls us to him. He's the one that does it. He makes us. I can't even. I get all mad at him and I fight with him, and then 20 or 30 minutes later, I'm studying, back to studying, or picking up the book, picking up checking out a blog or something that I know that has, I don't know, just everything. And I don't really watch hardly anybody that doesn't. I'm really getting tired. I just want to check out of people not getting ready for what is happening now and what I know is coming. It just seems pointless. I mean, I like to come on here and teach and keep spreading the good news, the coming to the King. What I know is, that's more important than anything, edifying and glorifying him and giving him all the glory. But man, there's nothing in this world right now that I look at all this like life extension, hey, life extension. Why would anybody want to live forever in this world right now? In the state of this union, the whole world, why would you want to try to live forever right now? 82. Wow, that's a long life. That's a long life, especially in this day and age. But probably ate a lot better than we did growing up. So, yeah. Well, food wasn't that bad when I grew up, but food's garbage now. Think about that. That's what I'm saying. Oh, gosh. Oh, the food at the store, the food at the store, the food at the store is food flavored poison in boxes. And boxes and plastic containers and boxes. Oh, it's garbage. It's rubbish. The food is just sick, terrible. Most of it's just really poison. A lot of it's poison. Ban it in another country. I know in everything. Oh man, and oh, some people's diets. How are people staying alive right now? How are people walking around? Think about it. They're getting sprayed, fluoridated, chloridated. They were already educated and schooled and programmed, and then they get they're sugarified with that. That's a literal poison. Lowers your pH down to acidic, you know. I don't. That's oh my gosh, man. I just man. See, that's I'm a veteran. The jab just really bought. I mean, I called it before. I called it before there was any mention of anything. I was telling everybody, people, when I saw China and I investigated, I found out that the event 201 event happened. I said I already called it. I was running around saying, "You guys, this is freaking insane." You don't lock down a whole country of that size and for 11 people. Are you out of your minds? This is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. And it led to the old greatest Javaduski ever, didn't it? In warp speed. So, again, still people wanting to play poker so all his buddies can get rich. People buying Pfizer. You know, yeah, I know that's crazy. I don't want to be on no meds. No meds for me. No, thank you. I use oil. I use cannabis. I use cannabis oil, and that works for me. I don't want to put drugs in my body. I don't want to. Every once in a while, I might drink a beer or once a blue moon or something like that. Not too often. Really, never been my thing. Might be something after a long day of working in the sun or something, but not for me. Just not. I guess a one or two's my limit. I won't ever drink more than two now. Or, when I was younger, I'd drink a little bit until I was 21, and then it was no fun anymore. So now I'm an old man. So I think my son was 21, 22 years old for the first time he ever seen me take a drink in his life. I didn't, just never been my thing. So, but anyways, especially now, I don't want to poison my body. I drink coffee and I put some creamer in there, and I know I shouldn't, but that's about my limit with I don't buy sugary things. I really don't even buy a whole lot more I try to buy a lot more, less of the breads, because all the crackers and, I don't buy chips and stuff like that. But I don't know. I make all my meals. Don't really eat snacks too much, not like that. I have things like cherries or whatever. I have like dried fruit or stuff. I get stuff like that. So, um, yeah, and I know bread's my bad thing. I eat bread. I admit, because I'll eat, slider burgers with some bread, and I know so still haven't cut all my bread out. Um, if I had a community out here, we'd make all our own bread, and we'd be able to do that. I can't do it by myself. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. So my bad, but I still eat bread. Stop it. She's just playing with her toy. Leave her alone. Go lay down in the back. Let her play. You don't need to police the cat. She's fine. Let her play with the toy. Puppy's over there. You're not playing with yeah, maybe someday that'll come. We'll see. I'm trying to get past, honestly. I have 10, 24, 24 on my brain. I know that's the event. I've already shown everybody the 12,000 year extinction cycle. We're in the sixth extinction event. We've been in it for 4 years now. So it's already here. We're already there. There's no reason you need to wait to do anything in my eyes. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting allergic to society. uh, this is insane. We just had 5 low latitude auroral events. We didn't even have high proton energy to cause that. Our shields are hacked. Our hammered, dude. We are so headed for some rough times here, man, ahead with the weather. Again, people are not going to be prepared for this. I've been going over the word over and over and over, and it keeps leading me to the, like a thief in the night. Like a thief in the night. You know what I'm saying? That's how he's going to take this world. Most people are not ready for what is coming, and it's like 200 and what 30 some days or something until this event. And I think things will begin to get much stronger as we continue to have these four large gas giants swing around the sun here, and we magnetically connect with them. And then the sun has to, step down its energy and give different energy to those four large gas giants as we get pinned in between all four. This is going to be, man, we got rocked in 79 AD, and our shields were at 100%. And they're not right now. We've lost a quarter of our shields, and I think we're going to lose 1% or 2% more possibly before we even get to that date. So I think we'll be over 25%. I think we'll be over 1/4%. Our shields will be gone. And so the sun is going to pound this place. You know what I'm saying? The sun is going to rock this place. And if you look around, you see all the elite getting ready right now, right? They've all dug in. I hope people are prepared for this, those that game this. And I've really been thinking about this. People better move here pretty quick, because people are going to get out of these cities, man. I'm telling you. You're not leaving the cities. You're not going to get out of the cities. I don't care. They show that in the movies a little bit. They show that, but I don't believe it's going to be not like people even think. Because I've been into some of these cities now, and I haven't been traveling too much around anymore, because I've been out here off the grid for, years. But I've been back and forth, in this state and all around these cities. They got these cables strung up. You know what I'm saying? Fencing. I see it, all these D files, all these extra added inner portions of the highways and stuff. They're set up to do checkpoints. You know what I'm saying? I did it for a living. I was a military police, a tyrant, a tyrant veteran, and then a tyrant police officer. And so I know this. I did this for a living, I'm in Silver Lake, Oregon. So I see these things. I did that for, that is one of the main missions of the military police. First one's in the battle, last one's to leave. But moving, high dignitaries around hostile territories through ambushes and through, heavy fire, this is things there's 9 field missions as a military police. And it's something that I'm very familiar with, the way traffic. That's what I did even in garrison. And when I did it as a law enforcement officer, that is traffic control. I was a traffic reconstructionist. I did traffic crash investigation, traffic reconstruction. And so I know the way the roads work. I know the way they're set up. And I see things now, like, for example, my mom lives in Crestwell, Oregon, off the I-5 corridor. And if you take that and you go to the north, you go up to Saginaw. And as a police officer, myself as a traffic crash investigator or a traffic unit, I would be a first responder to the scene, right? So I know that cops pull over in the road to give you a ticket, right? They they pull down in the road, and traffic cops do speed. So that was because speed really does, it hammers vehicles and it kills. People shouldn't drive as fast as they do, but whatever, till they wreck into somebody. I'm tired of this victimless crime. But if I've got to go down through the median, because I'm a traffic crash record, I'm not talking about somebody speeding. I'm talking about somebody wrecked. Somebody's wrecked out. So I got to go down through the median and turn around, right? Now they've got these big cables strung out. So like from Crestwell, Oregon I'd have to go. I measure it's like 5.6 miles up to Saginaw because you can't get off at the dump right there. You got to go past the dump and to turn around. So if you're wrecked out right there where I could just turn around and go, now I got to go all the way up and come all the way back down to get to you as the first responder. That ain't right, man. That's not, I'm telling you, there's something more behind it. And I knew it. And that's when I called it way back then, when they strung them up and I'd seen it. It takes it, these cables, you cannot, cars, it shreds cars, man. These cables shred cars. If you get into it with a motorhome or something, it eats cars up, man. These things ain't no joke. They've strung up. So I know what this is. This is to keep people locked in. That's like when everybody was talking about Mr. 45 who failed to build the wall, the greatest wall ever. If he did that, we wouldn't even be having this discussion about newcomers, right? So he wasn't talking about building that kind of wall anyway. So he's talking about building a millimeter Trump bowl. Okay, how about that? So something like Hotel California, you can check in but never leave, but not nothing you can see. But anyways, I told people, you guys are all worried about all these people coming in, and you surely should now. There's so many people. Like I said, he that was way back then, oh, the Magadome. Yeah, Magadome. Are you guys ready for the Thunder Magadome? Lightning, MAGA, and the Thunder Dome, right? It's going to be a millimeter dome. So the MAGA dome. Thank you. No, he said he was going to build the wall, right? And the greatest wall ever. And so this is obviously an ongoing problem, as I said, for decades now, right? But everybody's worried about everybody coming in. And I'm like, you know what, man? What about he's going to lock us in here? Yeah, he's none of that. He's not neither of those. That's not what he is. He's I think he might be. I don't know. I just, like I said, me, myself, and that guy have obviously some issues. So I've been warning of him before he even ran for president. Man, he was not hard to predict. He's been in the cards for. Whatever. He's the kingpin. He's the kingpin to all of this at time, and I know that it seems like he does have a handler, but then again he doesn't have a handler in a sense, man. I'm telling you. It's just chosen that way. The Most High did this. The Most High. It's the Most High who chose this. So it's destiny, not predestined for him because he's going to the abyss, but they all will. Don't trust no cops. Oh man, no cops. All cops are failures. There's not one good cop. They're all horrible and terrible, and there's none of them. They all failed the American public during the vid. So just a bunch of actors in clown suits. All of them need to turn in their badges. Every law enforcement officer failed the American public, and they still are standing down. They should be standing up to what's going on right now. They are that foul that our founding fathers warned us about a standing army, and there they are, right in your face, all decked out, all militarized, just like during when time when I was in Desert Storm, Desert Shield, first part of the 90s. Look, they're wearing the same get up. Yeah, whatever. Bring all our military home. All this is a sham. All this whole thing is a scam. It's all nonsense. They're all playing the game. They're all making money skimming off that crap and all that. Hell with all that. Nope. I don't believe none of that. I'll put them all on an island. They all failed. Anywhere there's 40% of the American public is either a private contractor or works for something for a government like the state police or something like that. So that's why nothing's getting done in this country, because the whole country is a bunch of bootlickers. The whole country is a bunch of jackboot thug lickers, and they're soft, and they love to be policed, and they love the authority. So this whole law enforcement is a joke. They enforce capital letter law, straw man law. They prey on the ignorant and extort them for their money, and that's pissed off the Most High when he was here in the flesh. Yeah, in the churches, turned over the money changers' tables, and yeah. So I think there's not one good officer. They have the education of a fly. If they're supposed to be out there enforcing law, how come they don't know about capital letter law and straw man law and dirt law? All this stuff they enforce. And I know I did it. I was a tyrant myself. So I know. That's why I call myself out on it every time. So that's why I believe the Most High made me do it. Because so now I could be on the other end and say, hey, the shoe's been on the other foot. So this, it's like I was talking to some guy today when I got pulled over. The last time I got pulled over, I told the sheriff out here that I was the law. I said, remember, Tom, I'm not the bad guy in this town, right? I've stood up for this town when you didn't. I'm the law in this town, Tom. There's about 8 people standing around watching because they were, whatever, trying to do their capital letter law nonsense. It's on my channel on TikTok if you want to see it. I didn't have the rest of it, but there's a part 1 and 2. You might have already seen it. So, yeah. I don't believe in freedom like that because we don't have, just whatever with my beliefs and definition. But freedom is idolatry, and that's the horror that this country that we live in, and it's a terrible system. Capitalism and freedom is in opposition to the law of God's law. It's anti-Christ, actually, because God has agape, 2 John and 6. But again, yeah, law of the land, laws that have always been here, all this other stuff. The federal government was instilled to enforce our God-given rights that, are inalienable rights, the law of the land. And that's what they were there, not to make all these other laws. So they're unjust. And in that Constitution, it does say that we don't have to go by laws that are not just. So I don't go on dates with men, so I don't follow mandates because that's not a law. I don't follow codes because I'm not a corporation. That's not a law. And I don't follow ordinances because that's not a law. So actually today I was having a discussion with the guy that was out there. He spent a lot of time in college. He's a paralegal, and he gets harassed out here too. Hasn't been out here super long, but they've really given him a hard time. And he was saying today that he kind of messes around with the police, and I won't mess around with them at all. Like when I saw that new guy come in town, I ripped his butt and told him, these sheriffs in this town, they ain't nothing but a bunch of tyrants, they have no backbone. I tried to get him to stand up during the vid, and none of them would. I can't even get the elected sheriff to come out to my only person. None of them have any authority. And I was just going off on this, on this cop as he was fixing his hot dog or whatever, just ripping his butt, saying that, they're tyrants and they're gangs and they're thugs and they extort, and the dude wouldn't even turn around and talk to me and say, what do you mean, man? Oh, that's not me. I'm a hero. I'm the guy, and I'm here to save the day. Remember, here I come to save the day. He didn't even turn around. He wouldn't even talk to me. I'm calling out this sheriff's department saying they're a bunch of they don't have no authority over nobody. They're a bunch of public servants, failures. They failed. The dude wouldn't even turn around. So it was kind of funny because that guy, I was talking to him today because I had to go uptown and got some groceries today. And he said, yeah, the cops were talking to me about you. And they're like, they're not going to stop messing with you because you won't stop messing with them. You won't, they want you to be more like me and joke with them a little bit. And they know, the law and, you're just too demanding and you're too loud and you're too, whatever. Get out of here, you stupid. Take off your clown suits, you freaking clowns. You're failures. And I call them every time I see them. They're failures, and I will never stand down. I will not. I'm not going to, because their ignorance. They still enforce law and extort and harass the general public. They're all heavily armed, and they all wear the same color. And when I was in law enforcement, that's the definition of a gang. So I don't know. Nothing's changed. I'm sure that's still the definition. And so that's a, yeah, it's extortionists. It's what they are. The road pirates and the road raiders, and I'm hoping that's not my demise because, death by cop, that's a sissy way to go. And not really, not like this. No, I think there's better ways to go than that. But I'm never going to, like I said, no, they're failures. They don't have any authority. All these alphabet soup agencies, you know what I'm saying? All the, the Federal Bureau of Imbeciles and the not, the NSA, they think they got all that because, we're the NSA, we're national security. You guys are an alphabet soup agency. You're just a corporation. You don't have any authority. You're a corporation. You're not part of the original Constitution. You don't have none of that. You don't have no authority over the man of the land and soil. See, I'm a man of the land and soil. I don't claim citizenship. I came from the dirt land, and I'll go back to this land and to the soil, and I'll go back to the soil. Okay? I'm a man of the land and soil. I don't claim sovereignty because I'm not above the law. There's the only sovereign thing in existence. They have sovereign immunity because they're cop suckers, right? And they get that sovereign immunity and they can lie and do all. I know it used to be a law, but they can't break the law. They can't break the law. They still can't infringe on your rights. And if you know your law, they cannot step on that. And if they do, you can sue their county or state or city they work for and their bond, as well as, because they're all cop suckers and they all do the same thing and just suck and feed off the general public, like, just feeding the beast system in the city and the states. They don't. Normally I call them out and, and remind them, who do you work for? The county, the city, or the state. See, I tell them they all work for the state because that's the top of the pyramid, of the social pyramid. You got individual, community, state, but they don't went on that traffic stop. I told the cop, you work for the state. Oh, no, I work for the, he's such a, see, they're imbeciles. They're imbeciles. They really are just, they have all of them have the education of a fly. All they know is to put their boot in your neck, and they're like crackheads, but with ID. We need to see the ID, man. I gotta get some ID. I gotta go out there and get the ID. Let me see your ID. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, are you on the amphetamines or something? They're terrible, buddy. Hey, check it out. Are you okay, sir? Have I committed a crime or something? Hey, don't put your hands on me, buddy. No, they love to go hands on. Remember, they want to put their hands on you. Yeah, they love putting their hands on. Think about all these cops. They really do go out and violate and accost people and go hands on with people, demand ID, and nobody's even committed a crime. So they're thugs. There a lot of them are absolute, just outright tyrannical jackboot thugs is what they are, and they're clowns, and they don't have authority because they're public servant. Bunch of, for deputy. Well, you're a deputy. You're not an elected official. You're like the CIA or the Department of Defense oh, that's one office below the president. Are you scared now? No, they're still an alphabet soup agency. They're just a corporation, and so is that public servant deputy. They don't have any authority. They're not an elected official. Any man that actually in this country that has any authority maybe over you in the area you live in, if you're in America, is your elected sheriff, the elected one, the one who's been elected on the ballot, and he can run the feds out, the alphabet soup agencies, all of them, DOD to FBI. Get the out of here. Remember Nevada, the Bundy standoff, elected sheriff? I reminded this sheriff out here of that during the vid. And that's why they wouldn't, that's why they hate me out here, guys, and won't do anything. That's why I can't even get the elected sheriff to come out and talk to me. He won't. Yeah, I've still got some serious issues and stuff out here. Whatever, it is what it is. I do some serious stuff. But remember, I've already battled these people multiple times, during the vid too. Trying to get them to stand up for these businesses and use their authority, or at least him, to get his deputies to go out and act like they had some authority. But no, they stood down, and they're failures. Remember I told you, I said to that one cop, I'm the law in this town. Because when I tried to get them to stand up and they wouldn't, I held a protest, right across the street from their police department. Because they wouldn't do anything. I was just talking to somebody today, and she's like, she remembered the meme about that I put out during the vid. That was so crazy today, guys. If you go on my part 1 and 2 on my TikTok of me getting pulled over by these guys, whatever, I've been pulled over multiple times, and there's a part 1 and 2. In the video, you hear somebody in the background, ha ha, they laugh, they make a snicker, ha ha, and they laugh at me, right? Well, that's been a country minute since that that's stopped. But I finally ran into those people today. It's so funny because I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, and I said, oh, well, actually, I was talking to somebody about it this morning, Rick at the gas station. And I said, you know what, about those people who laughed at me or whatever. And I said, you know what, if I see them in public, I'm going to make a big old huge scene, in front. I said, maybe I'll pull them to the side, whatever, and just lay into them then, or something like that. And, I said, whatever. I said, whatever, I'll figure it out when I get there. So, but anyways, I went into the Dollar General. This is the same where the lady sneezed and I got on the people the other day. So him and his wife come in and they come around or whatever. They come up to the checkout and he goes, all, and I say, hey, what's happening? Hey, what's up, you bootlicker? And he's like, huh? Like, don't you remember me, you bootlicker, you jackboot thug licker? His wife's all giggly. You. I said, yeah, you were there too. Don't you remember? Was over at the post office. I got harassed. I was being harassed by these tyrants out here. And you drove by and you laughed. Ha! He said, oh, well, I thought you were my name. I don't care who you thought I was. You laughed. Why didn't you get out and say something? I was being harassed by these tyrants and you laughed at me. You're a bootlicker, dude. You know that? You're a jackboot thug licker. Oh, well, we just, we didn't know. We just thought it was, and his wife started laughing. I said, you know what? You're a bootlicker too, ma'am. I said, you sitting there laughing the whole time when I'm sitting there talking to your husband and all you can do is giggle. I said, that's crazy. I said, we both live in the same town, and these people are going out and actually that lady, Tina, finally got off those charges today because I told her, just fight it and they'll drop it. They got no evidence on you. This lady found some money, guys, in a bag, like $4,500 or something. Turn it into the cops the next day. She put it in her account in her bank, and it's totally separate account. Kept it separate. Turned it in the account to the cops the next day. Gave it to the cops. They signed it over. Chain of evidence released. Blah blah. They got a warrant on her 4 months later and told her that she had stole that money. Blah blah blah. Some of this crap that's going on out here is so silly. They try to get in, pick on people who are weak. This is a Billy Bob system out here. People should do some Rita and up before they come out to this town. You can't be a lay down out this town or they'll people will run over you. This ain't, this is a township. This ain't even a town. This is a township. And trust me, there's more people in this town than is a township. But the people out here won't even admit to. The people have a hard time going off and getting off onto people's land out here. You need to leave people alone out here. They came out here to be left alone. They don't want to be messed with. So if you go drive down somebody's driveway, you're probably going to get, it ain't no joke where I live. So, anyways, yeah, obviously he said he was just, beside himself and being all laughy and giggly. And I was like, you know what, dude, you're sitting there supporting these people. They go around, they're pulling people over in their little small town for not wearing seatbelts coming out of the Chevron gas station, all this. I said, that's too much, and you guys sitting there and you support this crap. So I'm going to just don't say anything. Don't say anything to me. And every time I see you, I'm going to call you out that you're a bootlicker and you support these people and you support this tyranny in this town. And I don't, because I've been standing up to these people for, almost 10 years with the people, with the farmers and this stuff. So no, remember, I live in this town, and every time you see me, I'm going to remind you. So don't laugh anymore or don't giggle. You're a bootlicker and have a good day, and walked off. And so later I came into the store because we went back some groceries, and I talked to Rita, the lady who took over the restaurant that I was trying to get the cops to stand up to. Eventually, once she stood up, guys, the cops wouldn't, so I did, and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then she moved out. I sold her all my food cart equipment. She went and did her thing and is happy or whatever. She had a bomb restaurant, man. I'm telling her food was the best. So still really good cooking out here. Some of these restaurants that we have out here. But anyways, like hometown cooking with some love in it. We got restaurants out here where they still put love in the food and you can taste it. So, but anyways, the lady who took over this is her daughter. Both of them, they work in that store, and she's younger. So I came in a little later in the day. I said, hey, I apologize. I probably got a little overboard with those people, but and it was just them, guys. There was nobody else, that walked up. It was just me, them, and the lady behind the store or whatever, her and her wife there and she's like, you're fine, Tracy. I go, well, I probably could have stopped, after 2 or 3 bootlickers. They just kept laughing and they just thought it was funny. It was like I was talking to kids. She's like, you're fine, Trey. That's, I appreciate what you did. I was like, yeah, okay, well, and I said, it sucks because these people support, I said, you remember during the COVID and all that stuff that, I had to stand up and all the crap. I couldn't get the police department and I had to put the meme. And she's, oh yeah, I remember your meme. That was great, Tracy, and I was like, oh, so it's cool. She goes, I said, it's, you believe it's still up there. She said, I know, I went back the other day and I can't believe, she's like, people in this town there are some people that appreciate what you've done. And these were the restaurant owners, guys, the ones that I stood with and whatever. And I hired her mom to work when I managed the bar for one of these guys down here and opened up his bar and got it going when he bought it from Kathy, the restaurant owner that I'm talking about. This is a small town, guys. I'd say it's a township. It's little Billy Bob out here. So, but anyways, because I stood up to the law then, guys, I have a problem. A lot of the stuff, with these people for now, but I'm never gonna stand down to them. I'm not, just not my nature to lick somebody's boot. I'd rather stand up 10-toe and die, standing up 10-toe than down on my knees, licking a boot, being a slave to their system. So no thanks. I'm gonna stand 10-toe up on this earth until he takes me and throws me in the dirt. But until then, remember, I was a veteran and I'm a soldier of God. Now I rebuke all that nonsense that I serve this beast system and now I serve the Most High, and I point out all these jackboot thugs and point out the fact that they failed this country, and they stood down during the vid. And you could pretty much do anything in America as long as you didn't run somebody over. They just pretty much, it was no holds bars. Remember during the vid, cops, they let you almost do anything on the high. Like I said, not, I'm saying as long as you weren't no pulling people over for plates, and you didn't even really, people didn't even have to release no signal. They didn't care. This people's whatever. Collect our paychecks, stand down. You freaking stood down and you're failures, so they stood down and I stood up for this, when I put out my meme, breaking news, small town community stands up against OSHA with local police department and, say small town restaurant, boom. Everybody in this town thought it was real. Oh my God, did you see what, the cops stood up, to the, it wasn't real. I just made a meme. I was the meme master during the COVID. So, yeah, it really pissed off the cops when they found out that everybody in the town thought they actually. Well, I couldn't get a member to make a ruling. That's why I held a protest across the street from their police department, right? And try to get them to do something and stand with these businesses. And we're not going to flatten the curve. We're not going to do this. Shut the, curbside serve, all that. No, we're going to have normal business hours as usual. Park your darn police car in front of this business and run off OSHA and make sure we're secure out here. Do your job. Oh, sorry, you got to go around the cop car here. The troopers, the state, the county, the city, they should have been in front of every business in America, every small business, every medium-sized business. But no, every church in America. Oh, sorry, sir, you got to get around this armored vehicle, but armor of God. So we decided to put all the armored vehicles in front of in front of all the churches. Put on the whole armor of God. It was a great idea, and we went with it. So we figured, hey, we're all armored up here, so we're not worried about some bug. We don't believe in. We're not putting our faith in man and science. We're putting our faith in God. And these armored vehicles, just come on in. It's everyday Sabbath in here. Oh yeah, no, we're doing this 7 days a week. We got these guys employed. Somebody read the figure of the book. We can't do this 1 day a week. We got to do this every single day. So we're here every day. We'll be here every day. We say every day Jesus, every day Sabbath. Yeah, so don't mind those armored vehicles. Don't mind. Don't be intimidated. They're here to protect us. Yeah, I know. And they're out in front of all these small businesses too. So no more of this government. Stand down. Stand down, right? I don't know. Yeah, Idaho. I used to live in Idaho myself. Lived in Idaho for a couple of times. Cut your minute when they wanted to cut me open and do back surgery on me. It freaked my son out. I didn't want to never be able to walk again. I mean, they might have fixed me, but they probably could have messed me up. So I moved to Idaho. Moved out of state. So they gave me about 6 months. They gave you about 6 months, buddy, and you're going to be done. Your back is hashed. You should have fixed that crap in the military, and now you've wrecked it even worse. So, no, we can't give you cortisone shots. We'll mess you up. You run the chance of never walking and paralyzing you. So you need reconstructive back surgery. And that was 12 years ago. I think my son said that the other day, something like that. It's been almost 12 years ago since they told me I was going to never walk again. And I broke my back again one more time since then. And I'm still standing upright. It's the nerve problems that I have, guys, that are hard for me to deal with. But yeah, cool. We lived in Nampa over there in Nampa. We lived over in Ontario for a while, was a little bit, yeah, I was all over the state of Idaho there. I sold food over there. So sold food all over the state. People in Idaho want to be told what to do. Actually, I sold more food in Idaho than I have any other state. I just have that mentality that I didn't mean to be like me. And I'm like, oh, well, they're like potato heads. They want to be told what to do, So I just tell them, I just do that anyways when I work in sales. I just assume the sale, correct? Right? I just assume the sale. I'd do it if I was you. That's a killer deal, right? So assume the sale. So, but anyways, I don't know. Maybe I took advantage. No, I sold them food. Come on, how can you sell somebody food? Uh, yeah, I sold them real high end Angus free range, all traceable, trackable, cryovac, individually cryovac, wrapped in plastic with the whole guarantee for taste, tenderness, freezer burn, the whole. I had a pretty good thing. I own my own company doing it for a while, and I did that for over 10 years. I sold food, delivered food, and yeah, it was a good business. And people in Idaho, they love their steaks, and I sold more seafood in Idaho than anything because there's no oceans in Idaho. So I sold all wild caught seafood and free range chicken and gold medallion pork. So no antibiotics, no steroids, no hormones, none of that stuff. And I sold them by a lot, though. People had to buy a lot from me. I wasn't your average guy. A lot of people see me driving around. They think I was like the Schwann's man or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like the Schwann's man for grown-ups, right? You know. But he does popsicles, but I told people I did steak sickles, but I didn't sell them, 3 or 4. I did half a cow, or I sold them. But I'm not like a lawyer. I do it by the case. I know nobody likes a lawyer, but if you're gonna buy it from me, you got to buy, a 3 or 6 month supply worth of food, and but I can make it so reasonably priced at that time if you buy bulk, because I was a bulk distributor, and I made my money because I sold more than most people. I knew how to do it. I made people buy more. Or I just didn't sell it to them. And I had to make. I was pretty good at what I did, and I knew if I could sell enough of it during the day, I could get rates for my company to drop off that I could sell enough during the day to make sure I can still sell them a steak for $2 a steak, right around that. $2 and some change for a $12 at the time, $15 T-bone. I think that T-bone's 25, $30 now for a T-bone, but back then, a ribeye, it didn't matter what steak you were eating. I could get it to you at a wholesale rate, because what I did is I took a restaurant cut, which normally goes out to restaurants, or believe it or not, there are some care homes that have some high-end care homes that buy the product type 2 for their customers, more of a private type care home than some of the bigger stuff. But it's all individually cryovac and portion controlled out too. So every cut's the same weight and same size, and I can sell it to restaurants as well. It's portion controlled out for restaurants. So it's a restaurant type of cut that I take and sell to a home. I could sell it to businesses, but I'd rather sell it into people in their homes. And so I go in and sell a bunch of it to people in neighborhoods. And I also can, add, like, normally if I could get them to buy 2 of the cases, of the steak, which would be, that's probably like 120 full portion, meals of steak at whatever steak you're eating at, right on $2 a steak for it at the time and change is what they were paying. And then I could give them a whole case of seafood and a case of chicken and a case of pork for free with my rate that I would do. And I could still make about $100 on that deal, which was okay for me. I was a brokerage wholesaler. I was an independent contractor, and I could stock them up for 3 or 5 or 6 months and cut their food bill in almost a third when they would buy it that way, instead of used to buying it by the week or even a month at a time, and it was all guaranteed. And so, but people loved it, and I did that for a lot of years. I opened up my own business doing it for a little while, and I did it with my son. He loved going out and doing it with me, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I did a lot of years, and I made a good living because I could go out and where guys would take all day and try to set up like a Schwann's man thing and set up a route with people. I never tried to go back and talk to nobody. I let them call me. If if the product's that good, they'll call me. If not, I'm always out trying to find a new customer, something new. And I don't get on the be back bus with people. And generally, I had to move enough of the product, and I got good enough at doing it that when I did it, I go around and train people around the nation and different states and stuff on how to do it and get their sales up. And I got to travel and got to sent to Vegas and go to NASCAR and all kinds of different, perks from doing it. But it was pretty cool because I could get done early. I could set my own schedule pretty much if I sold enough food, which, I became one of the better people in the country of doing it, and went into some of the national type stuff again for one of the largest companies in the state that does this type. Uh, and I could be and go get done early in the day. A lot of guys would wait and get out and try to go get out around noon, and because you can do whatever you want, and they dink off during the day and in the morning time get breakfast and hang out and whatever and do whatever, and they get to go in about noon and then get done about 5. They put in 5 hours of work and make a couple $200-300 a day working an honest living. And it was good living for a lot of guys that were in the business or whatever. And but I chose to go out there first part of the day and make a deal with somebody over a cup of coffee. They make a much better decision when their head is much more clear at the first part of the day, and they got all the day's stuff going in their head and stuff. So I'd normally get out pretty early, and I could be done, bust out a lot of the times, sell everything I have in my truck before noon. But I make people buy a lot. You remember, I make people buy my whole truck. If I found the right person, I could, to see. I remember I said I assumed the sale. So if you know the numbers well enough, and like I said, I got good enough at doing that, the company would actually hire me to just go move truckloads of this stuff at a time. Sometimes I could find the right people, and we called it dropping, an ordinance on somebody, if you will. That was 5 or more of the cases at a time, anything more than that. But I got good enough at it, you can just sell the whole truck, right? If you have the right person. There are wealthy people who like good food when they have it. And if it comes with a supply and they entertain enough guests or something like that, oh yeah, not too hard to do. I just do the numbers. I just take the same deal like I told you at 5, and if I can get them to buy 2, and I can make more money, obviously, depending, because I can twist the numbers to do whatever I want with the numbers. But that's not a very big price. Normally I can get you to buy 2 and get 2 for free. If I give you the whole case, that's a whole nother profit out of my deal. But whatever, I do numbers for, that's, I move product for the company is how I do it. I've always done that because I don't go around trying to just sell people individual, and break things up and pull apart my cases apart and I just never worked that way. I was one of the better people in the business and doing it. But it was like I said, it was a good living because I could go out by noon and get done, and then I could, go pick my son up from school and still drop him off and have the whole day with him to go do whatever. And it worked out for a lot of years as a single dad. It was a good job. You know what I'm saying? I was able to be wherever he wanted. I could show up because I was an independent contractor. I can go wherever and be with some of the guys for these companies. They would make them bring their vehicles home back to the shops because they don't trust them with, there's a lot of product. You fill that thing up and you can fill that thing up. That's a lot of money worth of product. And then the freezer, you're talking about, $15,000-$25,000 freezer on a truck. And then, the company as I work for, they have the night, Tacoma, big, really nice Tundra, all the nicer stuff. That's a lot of money to trust, because you're an independent contractor and people have run off with trucks and stuff before from companies. And so they normally don't allow any of their trucks to leave out of their shop. But normally I could take the truck home with me and, full. And so and they would trust me for, because I always bring it back empty, so normally don't come back with a bunch of shuffled up stuff. And I do a lot of cash deals most of the time. I wait for people to buy it when they're ready. Try to shove something down somebody's throat if they don't want it. I might tell you 5 times. I won't take no for an answer, so to speak. But generally I don't make somebody who doesn't buy it. I know that doesn't have the money or the ability. I didn't have a lot of people who um, really ever returned the product much. People liked it, and I never got as many people call back um, for my product. But I had people tell me that I think that they always used to snag up my return customer deals because I don't care. They knew I'd go out and find somebody else. So a lot of the times they call the office to try to, buy more. And I just, I learned through the years, they would always snag up all my return, customers. And I never made a route. I didn't want a route of people. Like when I did landscaping, I did the same thing. You guys, I eventually took my landscape business and I started with a pickup truck and a mower and an edger and a blower and Tango, stop. And I built up and went around and just, and there's another business. Like I said, I already did door to door, whatever, just sell, food right off the side of from my hip and get you to write me a $3,000 to $5,000 check for food, or whatever, run a credit card or whatever. So, um, but that's what people eat. Everybody eats. So to me, that's the same thing. If people don't want it, they don't want it. That's fine. But landscaping was another business where I was like, when I first started out, because I just self-made, like I said, a little pickup truck and got going, I know if somebody doesn't want landscaping, that's fine, cool. But like, I wouldn't be knocking on somebody's door if they didn't need the landscaping, right? If your yard wasn't long or your bushes weren't up against it, So to me, that was another just the easiest job in the world, like, I don't mean to assume the sale, but your yard looks like crap. You want it to look, I don't mean to tell people yard looks like crap, but what I'm saying? That wasn't a hard sale for me in landscaping. And I opened up my own landscaping company and I did well because I didn't take a route like most people. I ended up getting licensed, bonded, insured, all that stuff. And because I kept from taking that gravy route like I did in the other business, I was able to work for, in this state that I work for is IPMG, it's the largest property management company in the state of Oregon. And they would send me out on, you know, calls where like they were going to had a client that they were going to get fined by the county, um, because the grass was too long for this ordinance stuff, and they were the property man. It happens, and so they can't get a lot of their landscapers to go out free like that, on the whim in the same day. Most of the time, it takes them the next, or even most of the time, it's about 3 days for most landscapers to have a route before they can get to do a job and do it right, and whatever. So most of the time I can get there the first or the second day. And so they would pick me up to do just so many different jobs. And I was glad that I didn't take a route because, they had me in all kinds of, clean outs. That's what and eventually I did more clean outs for that company than I did landscaping. It's pretty crazy. I was a landscaper, but, because they knew I would go in and do the job and get it done and then not jack them for, like dump fees and all these other. I was very efficient with my billing and whatnot, and so free a lot of free dump fees and stuff. I know how to put it in with my hourly, and not a lot of people really, unfortunately, when people become self-employed and stuff like that, they really go overboard with the billing and stuff, and always trying to take here and take there and take here and take there, and it just kind of ends up being the norm. And if you're efficient, you got good equipment and you know what you're doing and you do it right the first time, you don't try to go fast. You just do it efficiently. Like when I was in SWAT, slow and smooth, just not too fast, not too slow. Don't give away, so that way you don't have to go back and fix anything, it's done right the first time. You can bill them a reasonable hour and still make a really good living at, being a lot of times I did it independently by myself. I did most of my jobs where I had good tools and bought the right tools for the job the first time. I can do what two or three guys were doing, by myself with the one man. I wasn't the only person who could do that in landscaping. You might seen there's some pretty good landscapers out there, and I was just doing basic, basic service, no install with you know, any kind of plumbing or anything like that, irrigation or anything, basic edge mow and blow, that type, full service type landscaping. But it was pretty cool because I eventually, like I said, didn't take that route, and I ended up working and doing all kinds of other jobs, which I like because I would go here, there, all over the place instead of being same place, gravy, whatever. You can have that. I don't like doing the same thing every day. I'd rather do something different every day. So it was pretty fun keeping that, not trying to go after that gravy money, so to speak. So what are you surfing on? Where in the world are we? They tell us are you corkscrewing and spinning? They tell us we're corkscrewing or spinning through time in this third dimension and space, third rock from the sun is what they say. But I'm not corkscrewing. I don't know about you, surfer. I'm not. You can't corkscrew or spin me. So no space in here. No, never a straight answer, right? No NASA. How come we haven't been back to the moon since 1976? What's up with that? How many billions of dollars every year do we spend on that never a straight answer, not a space agency? Oh, man. Crazy. Yeah, people are so opportunistic in this day and age, man. Contractors really blow it, but the system's been set up like that, man, to really flush the system. Keep this old greenback running off of the old petrodollar and all this printing into infinity. To infinity and beyond. They printed like 40% of the money in circulation now in the last 3 years. It's insane how many $100 bills have been just shot out by the inflation creation machine called the Federal Reserve, the central banks. It's quite alarming. Our children's children have no future now. It's pretty sad. The evil and adulterous generation will look for a sign. The only sign they'll be given is the sign of Jonah. I think we've reached that evil and adulterous generation. Yes, we just sent another 60 or something $billion over. We got children starving in this country and dying, and we're sending billions of dollars overseas. I think the system's broken. Yeah, that's are you talking about the lady, the space lady? They ended up seeing those people later. That was a hoax. The whole space shuttle blowing up. Whatever that was. That's like I said, man, what is wrong with people, man? Believing in space? Huh? You believe in space, huh? You believe in heaven too. That's like grandma's in heaven, huh? Grandma's in heaven. Is she really? No, grandma's not in heaven, guys. Like up there in space, you mean? Wow. The idiocracy of society today, they're going to look back in history and laugh at this. I'm serious. You guys got to check this out, man. This like hundreds of years later. They literally stood on these X's, guys. You got to see this. No, everybody did. Oh my God, dude, check this out. They told them that the bug wouldn't get them if they pushed their buggy down the one direction, that the bug wouldn't get them. Dude, this is hilarious. You got to see, this is the most idiocracy generation ever. No, literally, like, dude, they were wearing all these face diapers. Check it out. It was Sharia law, right? But the dudes were wearing face diapers. Holy smokes. This is incredible, man. You should see this. They just shut their businesses down, dude. They just shut their doors. They didn't even try to fight it. Check this out. Yeah, it went straight socialism. They gave away checks, and then it was communism, right? We know every time in history, every time, what's the difference between socialism and communism? Just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. So here we are, two-tier society, the haves and the have-nots, brothers and sisters. Yes, sir, we are coming. The dragon, yes, it will give up its power, its authority to that dragon, the beast. This here America. Are you ready? Are you ready for the big show over your head? Yep, the circus. Yep. It was the big top. Remember? The millimeter Trump bowl, right? The MAGA bowl. Has the MAGA wall, right? The MAGA bowl. My son's so hilarious. That was free. And are you ready for the MAGA death? So he'll be back, right? Oh my God, he's gonna save the world. Is he gonna put Billary back in? Think how much money made off that? Probably more money than his sneaker gig, huh? Why is he got selling bobbleheads? How much this guy gonna sell this, people? How much money was made on the red hats, man? This dude's a scammer, guys. Careful. Greatest wall ever. Yeah, you're gonna be in your millimeter Trump wall, aren't you? Oh yeah. Living it up in the Hotel California. Such a lovely place. No, you just don't like the truth there, surfer. This is all truth. This is the truth. I point out the truth. Please not advocate drug. Cannabis is not a drug, but alcohol is a drug, and we don't insinuate drug usage in this channel, please. Let's act like adults in here. We're trying to point out this country's falling apart, and you're accusing me of drug usage. It's time to grow up. Stop being so childish. This country has been pummeled into the ground by debt and. Do I prefer a guy that can't keep his hands off children, or do I prefer a guy that decorates his house with Satan and calls himself a Christian? No, I think we need to lock them both up. Lock them up, lock them up, lock them both up. They are both island boys. Yes, they're island boys. They've been to EpiPen Island boys. That's mean they both like to do the hokey pokey and turn themselves around, because that's what they're all about. Yep, and their wives have bananas. Well, I don't know about Mr. Bidenstein, but Mr. Trump, yeah, he's the one who says he's a Christian, but his house is decorated with Satan. So why would any of these clowns? They're both related to the Queen. So they're both on the same team. Remember? They're both island boys. Yes, they're EpiPen Island boys. Yeah, they've been to the EpiPen Island boy. Yes, they have. Remember? So why would I ever want either of those clowns? Oh, even the last, when everyone asks my favorite president, it's going to always be none of them. They're all tyrants. Hey, at least George Washington banned Christmas in America, right? He did something, right? No foreign entanglements, No, they're MAGA murderers is what they are. Remember, mass. They get to be. It's pretend it's okay if they actually do that for a living. We give them that. Why would I vote for somebody that we allow this to do this? I'm a veteran. We go fight all these wars in 800 military bases in over 800 or 180 countries. We're tyrants. And these people vote and do all this in these other countries. So if you notice, Mr. Bidenstein is the same thing with Mr. Trump. And Mr. Trump is Mr. Obama, the living crap. Remember the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Mr. Obama, the guy born in Kenya, right? Said he was born on the island. No, not that island. He was born in, over there on the Maui blast, right? So Maui blast in Chile, and I get accused of grow up, man. Come on. A lot happened, and you're accusing people of drug usage. I think you could do better things with your time. So some of us are in here pointing out the truth, and we're speaking in Mountain Dew. So
keep up. Put a blue roof on you and you might be all right. Remember, well, if you look, all the neighborhoods was burnt down but the one had the right roof on it. They're just mocking people. Did you guys see that interview with Mr. Hokey Pokey, and you turn yourself around, Mr. Trump's best buddy, his island boy buddy, Mr. playing standing down, Mr. Joseph, the king and Joseph, all this stuff they're doing biblically that the whole world's blind to, which is sickening in my eyes. So you have any idea what I'm talking about? Joseph and the standing down and it's all biblical, guys. Whether you understand what they're doing or not, doesn't mean that these guys aren't on the same team. So, oh yeah, they're all related to the queen. You mix red and blue and you get what? Blood related to the purple. Yep, they're all related to the purple boys. Oh, this is not YouTube and Facebook, buddy. Some of us have been doing this for decades there, surfer. I'm not going to cast my pearls before swine. Please leave. You're a bootlicker. You love the system and you won't stand up. You're the silent majority and you're not going to have anything and you're going to be a menace to society and a burden to other people and not a blessing because you don't like people who get prepared and do something and open up their mouth and say something. So please leave respectfully. I'll be try to be respectful to you, but you do, I'll just leave it at that. Just please leave. You're not needed in here. You're not contributing anything. So first you started with your drug usage, and now you're talking about like CIA type, conspiracy theories. Do you work for the government or something, man? See, I can't stand government workers and I can't stand police officers. They're tyrants. They stood down. Are you a bootlicker? Do you like cops? Do you like this government? You asked me who I would vote for? I ain't voting for none of these clowns. Pound sand, buddy. We don't vote for anybody in here. Let's get this. See ya. So, anyways, tired of the society where people aren't doing anything about getting rid, and when you got people who go to the island and they get away with it and they do the hokey pokey and turn themselves around and that's what it's all about and nobody cares. Think about it right now. Straight up didn't want to debate. What I said, the one can't keep his hands off children and the other one's got his house decorated with Satan and he calls himself a Christian. What debate is there? You know what I mean? What do we have to debate? So I think he must be slamming that hopium and been drinking the Kool-Aid. Rabbit holes. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. Pagan. Bootlicking pagans. Yes, they love their little G gods, their deities. So they love their road pirates. No, that's okay. It's all right. Who am I going to vote for? Vote. I'm going to vote for nobody. I'm going to vote for myself. I'm going to vote for people who aren't doing any. That's how I'm voting for anybody who's not going to vote for this system. That's my vote. Anybody who wants to check out of the system. I'm going to vote for off-grid living. How about that? Boom. I'm going to vote for take care of ourselves, form communities, get off this system, Bud Light the system. How about that? Doritos. They're boycotting Doritos now, guys. Don't buy no more Doritos. See, there's power is in your hands. We hold the power. The power is in the people. Remember Bud Light? Well, now I think they're doing it with Doritos. But if everybody could get, remember, it's not always what you do. Sometimes there's way more power in what you don't do. Yeah, that's right. The power is in you have purchasing power. Remember, if 20% of this here, America would stop doing the W-2 thing, there wouldn't be enough money to fund these 40% tyrants that don't want to rock the boat. Think about that. 40% of this population here in America has a private contractor or some kind of job for the government. See why nothing's happening? See why I call that guy a jackboot thug licker and then put him in timeout? Because they love the system. And the system's against them. The system's like, close your business down. Stand on the X. It didn't matter if it was Mr. Trump or Mr. Trump brought you the hollow. Remember the greatest jab? The hollow needle, the tip, the spear, right? Remember that he brought you the greatest in warp speed, right? The bringer of the disease and the cure of the jab, right? And then right after it, he put the bite in. Ha! You've been, the old serpent got you. You know I was a snake before you let me in. That's right. You got the bite in, didn't you? Oh, Mr. Biden. Gee, I wonder why they put the bite in. How about that for a rabbit hole? Chase that rabbit there, you rascally rabbit. Oh my God, man, somebody's actually talking about something here other than nonsense. Oh my God, did you see this stupid bowl, man? Did you see that halftime show? Yeah, I saw that satanic occult ritual. Mr. Usher with his star brooches, right? Star is lunar sea. And what do you know? We had Luda. That's Luda, right? In the face. Oh, the Phoenix. Oh, and then he comes in with his, oh no, it's the portholes, the time. Oh no, that's not biblical. That's not talking about that April 8th eclipse. Oh no, they're not signaling nothing. Bunch of satanistic, watching a bunch of millionaires run around chasing each other with tights and chasing a low energy swine skin. That's entertainment. You think about this in history, you guys. They used to off each other over, land and gold and silver and different borders and stuff. Now you guys, they got people beating the snot out of each other over dudes, millionaires running around with tights and with a low energy over, right? Like color different. I think we've degraded as a society, man. Like I said, we went from, come on, you guys. We went from fighting over kingdoms and gold and silver, to IOUs and tennis shoes. That's right. America, boys. We're so smart, guys. We are the best country in the world. Yeah, or not. Oh, man. This country is freaking sucks. Terrible. Founded on freedom, idolatry. Yeah, we're just going to come over here and unalive all the people that are here because we say they're not Christian, they're barbarians, right? Well, let's just give them some blankets so they can stay warm. Never forget this country, brothers and sisters. Never forget the filth this country was founded on. The Chinese were in the 14th century. They came through here, guys. Come on. Christopher Columbus, America. Nonsense, man. This country's, oh, man, I can't wait. We're so close, guys. We're almost there. We're so close. They've already came and planted their flag in this country, guys. Yes, they did. The dragon has said, hey, we're going to put our flag right here on our route. We don't want to see no American flags. Oh, we can have a few of those rainbow flags, though, huh? Gee. Yeah, it's all, like I said, this is all connected, man. It's all, just watching this is just, like I said, I know God's in control. I can't change none of it, but I'm going to point it out. I'm going to point out all this stuff. It's so obvious right now. What we are seeing is all going by the script, all going by the number. Yes, by the logos. So, when is the do going to do you? That's really what we should have a discussion here real quick, though, with How long before they do you? You know, until it comes to a look, mommy, balloons. Oh boy, better pay attention, reconstruct that route, find out where those balloons are going. Because I think you'll find a common denominator. Oh, yes, you will. Yes. Look, mommy. Hold on. Let me drink the dew. Do me, baby. Bell, bib, the bow. So, seriously, guys, think about that. Why does nobody even care about that? They just had a chili bowl, remember? Yes, they did. They had a chili bowl, guys. Did you see that? Ashes to ashes and dust to dust again, man. Then remember, did anybody hear what I said? Mr. Bidenstein was talking about that neighborhood and that everything burnt down except for the one house because it had the right roof, is what he said. That should make you enough to check out of the system right there. Okay, I've heard enough. I'm never going to do none of this again. These people are so know what they're doing to us. And they're mocking people now. That is a straight mockery, guys. So I don't know why people wait for anything now. Anybody who likes these governments, who would I vote for? They're freaking making everybody drink Mountain Dew soda. I don't drink soda. You know, they were making, I don't go on dates with men. I don't follow mandates. Okay? So you won't make me do that. I'm sorry. I'm not into the alphabet, you know, R2D2 X3 YYZ D2 LG3 P2. I don't do none of that. I'm a man of the land and soil. God created one race, and that's the human race. I don't see color. I see man and I see woman. Tango, stop. So why don't, it's because that's how out of touch. I think that's a setup. It's a setup for what they're doing and what they're signaling, what is coming. Blue helmets in America. That's what they're telling you. It's what I've been saying. Domes, covers, domes, blue helmets in America. You better listen to what I'm saying. People don't listen to me, and then these things happen sometimes 2 years later, sometimes 5 years. I don't pick dates. Remember, I don't go on mandates. I don't dates with men. I don't follow mandates, codes, or ordinances. I don't play by their rules. I don't go by their rules. So obviously there's something there, and we know what it is. We know what it is. They did all those discoveries off this, you know, that platform. There was something about that color. Absolutely. I'm telling you, it's a signal. It's a signal. It's multifaceted. It's the blue book. All know that, but it's also to cover the dome, to put the helmet on, right? Are you going to get up there and lay on the cats? Oh my gosh. Look at this dog. He's just going to lay on the cats. You freaking dog. You're laying on Pants. You're on John Dunn. Pants, get up. Did you guys just see that? You guys are the silliest dogs I ever had, man. You are knuckleheads. That dog just laid on that cat. That cat didn't make any noise. Oh, that is insane in the membrane. Did you see that? He didn't even care. He would have just laid there, man. They all do it in the morning. They all just lay here together. Oh, you guys are silly. You guys are knuckle. You are knucklehead. You got to stop laying on those kitties. He just didn't care at all. You're a goofball. Poor John. So, but anyways. So, obviously, guys, They ain't playing around. They ain't playing around. They are not playing around. Do you understand? They are not playing around. Why are people playing right now? I mean, they could do that anywhere. Obviously, people down in Texas have been drinking some kind of a, maybe I don't know what that was. I don't know if they have a flavor for Texas, but they were drinking some kind of Mountain Dew down there. I looked at that, man. The same thing. Same. Here we go again. How come nobody's like this is probably one of the most epic things I don't think this has ever been done before, guys. I don't this is like this tech, man. This tech that they're using right now is old. Old, not new. So that's what's about to be released. It's insane. It's insane. They're just, wiping stuff, they're like, oh, well, these people all will drink all this Mountain Dew all over here. Just Mountain Dew. Look, Mama Balloons. Yeah, same. Nobody's paying attention. I am. I've done the homework. I've done the overlay, like on my maps. I know. Same. So every time look, Mama Balloon, here, honey, shut up and drink the dew. Drink your Mountain Dew. It's really happening. It's really going on. So that's incredible. Guys, just pile ashes, whole buildings and stuff. Did you see there was at the Chili Bowl, there were cars flipped over? Cars flipped over? I can't imagine the intensity of what it took to do that. Everybody's just forgetting about the Mountain Dew Maui Blast flavor. Nobody really cares about that flavor anymore. And no, I don't think they have they don't have a pina colada or a paradise drink, do they? Have a Mountain Dew flavor, but we know that they did there, didn't they? That happened in Australia too. You know that the Aussies are over there drinking Dew too. You know that? So not just here in America. Multiple times. I think more people in America are drinking Mountain Dew than anywhere else, from what I've seen. Right? I've seen, now 3 places, correct? Isn't that insane? How come nobody cares about that? Like, that's insane. They're just, we're just the whole building's gone. Metal buildings, some of the stuff that's been just everything in the house is just not even any remnants of nothing. Piles of ashes in whole neighborhoods. Except for this house here, this house there. This is insane, man. This is insane. Can't believe that people just go along right now like nothing's happening. And I can't wait for the spring. I cannot wait for spring to get done here so I can get my concrete work done and be done and whatever. Be ready to, I ain't going to go dive in the ground yet, man, but I don't think I want to be, I I want to be ready to be away from this, man. I don't want to. I don't want to see this anymore. This is stupid, man. Um, I can't believe they can just pull this off and get away with it. All these people drinking soda is ridiculous. Soda's bad. It'll kill you, man. It's bad for our health. So I don't know. I don't know what you would do, but I don't want to. I don't do. I don't do the do. I don't do the do. I don't drink soda. So just gonna keep going on, keep happening. And it's crazy because there's obviously, if you remember when they had all those people drinking the Maui Blast over there, and over there on the blue island, right? There were people saying, "Hey, this is hey, 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 whoa, 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 what's going on here? This is not a wild. This isn't wild. This is crazy. This is not this don't add up. The remember, um, steel melts at what, and jet fuel burns at what? So something's not. And so people have noticed. So, but they keep doing it, don't they? They keep doing it. So that's crazy. That's crazy. That's insane that it's happening. And the whole world doesn't care about it, not the least. And like I said, I bet you those people that were drinking that Mountain Dew can, you know, it's just there's too many events now for me. Okay, when it was just us, the Aussies, and just there was just a couple events. That was fine, but I'm telling you, these people keep drinking Mountain Dew, and I told you you shouldn't drink soda. Okay, you should not drink soda. It's harmful and it can kill you. It's not good for you. But people don't care. Remember, they're just going along and they don't care either. So sooner or later they're going to have to drink the dew too. Coming to a neighborhood near you. Are you ready to do the dew? So that's incredible. People are not going to care. Still, yeah, everything. They've been destroying all the food. Look how many factories have gone up. What do you think is doing that? There we go. There we go. There's more. There's more, I guarantee you, because look at that. There's places now that there's things that should have never, they have suppression in them, guys. And a lot of these buildings have to be up to code. Think about it. You can't have no building that's not up to code to be running all these factories and food and all this. And they even ran airplanes into food factories last year, guys. Whoa. Whoa. Think about that. How many energy places were hit last year? That's still an attack on the food, on the supply chain, guys, on the food. Man, America is becoming a very dangerous place to be, guys. It is becoming a very dangerous place to be. Yep, cutting fire line and drip pots and oh yeah, I'm familiar. My father died with fire, so I'm very familiar with fire. Never fought fires, but how's this thing doing? But I don't know. Like I'm just gonna keep rattling on about this, but I don't. It just this is so incredible that this has been going on now for as long as it has, because this isn't new news. Pants, don't get up there. You just lay on the cat. Stop it. But I believe it'll continue. And again, I'm pretty offended because my father died in a fire. So fire is something that's always been kind of, the smell of fire kind of irritates my, like a nerve. Like, you hear a song and it takes you back in time or something. Fire is something that it reminds me of when my father died. So my dad died. And so I've always just kind of spent a lot of time looking at fire and watching all these woods in the last couple years, 5 years, 10 years. It's insane the amount of how much is burnt. I know a lot of that is poor forest management. These last Mr. Trump, Mr. Sun God lover, Mr. Satan lover, he was the first administration to get into the woods since, gosh, like the 80s, guys, with the whole spotted, the spotted owl crap. Then they really started making it hard for, proper forest management. So the Trump administration did get in and do something. That's one thing they did. I don't give the guy any credit, but, that's something that happened during that administration. And obviously that's all been reversed, since. But it's so crazy, this back and forth seesaw. That's the problem with the system, guys, too. You know what we need in America? We need a dictator. We need to stop going back and forth with this every 4 years, every 8 years. Nobody can even decide anything in this country anymore. This whole democracy stuff is a flawed system. Democracy means mob rule. It's 59 or 51, 49. Hey, we got to pay off 3 of these schmoes over here, and we got it back in our court, right? It's called mob rule. So, yeah, there's no part of the system right now that's functioning properly. Everybody's just skimming and going along to get along, and it's corrupt. It doesn't enforce the laws of the land, and it runs out, gang thugs to go out, road pirates to go out and extort and harass the general public, all heavily armed group of thugs, and all wearing the same color, thin blue line. So it's pretty crazy how this corporation has taken over. And this is Marxism, fascism. When the corporation combines with the country, that's called fascism, guys. And we're here. What has controlled the country over the last? All the small businesses had to shut down. Remember, you had to shut down your small businesses, but the big businesses stayed open. So who do you think's running the show? It's the corporations that are running the world right now, guys, and the central banks. So every time people vote for this crap, and these central banks print more money, they get more power. That's how they derive their power. By the more money they print, the more power they get, the more interest they earn, the more money they make. So outstanding. Good stuff there, man. Kundalini. Yeah, just it's just, if you look at what just happened over the last 4 or 5 years now, guys, you'll see what I'm saying. That's completely true. We saw the corporations run this thing. The governors helped. Yeah, good stuff, man. Just that's how you do it. Just keep counting them down, man. One at a time. Step. Ready, step, ready, step. And then just keep chipping away, and bam. Next thing you know,
big old chunk falls off. Bam, there went a whole year. So time flies, especially when you're sometimes when you're on the difficult path too. It can go pretty quick when he's running you like a pony, working you. So I still feel so. Again, every day I wake up and I wonder how much longer is it going to take people to understand what is going on here. And I know maybe people won't, because I keep reading, going back through the scripture, and it keeps telling me that people won't. It won't. It's going to catch most people unaware, like a thief in the night. They won't see it coming. Even though it's already happening, they won't, as this continues to deteriorate and break down, they're not going to see it. They're going to succumb to this. Like, they're just not going to do anything. Most people don't even know anything's happening. That's what's pretty crazy. You know what I mean? That's pretty insane. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's what they don't teach people to think anymore in school. There's no, scientific theory where you dispute the known and you have theory and narrative, and no, you're a worker bee now. You're a good worker bee. We're going to program you, and you're going to go through, you're going to be schooled, right? You're going to schooled, and we're going to, make sure you go along with the narrative, and you don't think. We're not going to teach you to think. You know what I'm saying? We're going to teach you to be a good worker bee and work for the corporation and go be a good producer. But they don't, even in college now, guys, they don't teach people to think. If it ain't in the book, it ain't up for discussion. You understand? See what I'm saying? So they don't teach anybody how to think anymore. They teach people how to work and be a good slave, a good debt slave to the system. So not a whole lot of thought press going on anymore in any of the school systems. They got kids thinking that 2 + 2 = 5 now. I mean, can you pervert anything any worse than that? So obviously, yeah, you can turn around and see everywhere in this world right now where good is evil and evil is good. You know what I'm saying? A complete lost will. I don't know how that's possible, but there's either self-will or God's will. But thank you. That's a good definition. Appreciate the definition there. Agape, 2 John and 6, to walk and follow in the commandments of God, God's will. Idolatry, porneia, the Greek word for idolatry. Latrio, to serve, ido, to see. 2 kinds of will in this earth. God's will and self-will. No other kind of will. No free will. Only God is sovereign above the law. He's the creator and the maker of the law, and he is sovereign. Everything else is under this law, and whether it understands it, it will pass through judgment. So, yeah. Sovereignty. Yep, thy will be done. That's the great thing about how it was all written. Hashtag, from what part of the foundation of the world do you not understand? Right? It was already all written. You're not doing anything God didn't already write. So you can't have free will if God already wrote all things. That's not even a possibility. Pretty crazy. Actually, I was talking to my son about it. He's like, well, Dad, the devil kind of has free will down here. I said, well, I kind of understand what you're saying, but God still wrote him to do everything. Right? God created evil, remember? He said that. I create evil. So evil doesn't create evil. God creates evil.
Tell that to your lollipop Christian friends. Oh no, evil creates evil. Oh really? You blasphemous heathen. That's not what the word of God says. The word of God says, he says, I create good and I create evil. So God creates evil. He makes evil do whatever it's doing, right? He uses evil against the people he loves, and he baits them. Yes, he does. He beats them. He uses them like a switch, and he beats the self out of them. Idolatry, pornea, latrio to serve, ito to see. That's right. He uses evil men, vessels of wrath, fitted for destruction from the hashtag, what part of the foundation of the world do you not understand? Yes, vessels of wrath from the foundation of the world. And then he chose his bride. Yeah, me too. My dogs are, got one laying here. That's my dog. That's my old puppy. He's almost 12 years old. He still thinks he's a puppy. He's only ever eaten diamond lamb and rice. So, never been to the vet. He's healthy as a, never had no issues. And my pants, he's back there, huh? He laid on the cat, so we kicked him out of here because he just laid right on the cats. He just completely covered the cats. Didn't even care. Cats are laying on the couch. He come up and lay right on top of both those cats. Silly puppy dog. Man, that was great. You should have seen it. He's just literally laid on the cat. The cat didn't even, he just totally covered the cat. Just completely covered the cat. And the cat didn't even, just laid there. I had to kick the dog off the couch. Get off the couch, man. You're covering the cat. Cat, well, they would have just probably stayed there and laid together. Yeah, these animals are something else. So without my dogs, I wouldn't be here in this cabin where I'm at. So I hear you. I can contest to that. So, well, that's not good. You had 35 dogs. That sounds like they're more like just a dogs are a pretty big commitment, man. You're supposed to keep your dog, and that's like my kid right there. So, but I've had dogs too. I've had lots of dogs because I breed dogs. But most people shouldn't own dogs. They're not very good pet owners. Most people shouldn't have goldfish, or a fish tank, but they do. Let alone like a little gerbil or anything like that, because most people aren't very good pet owners. My animals eat better than me. My animals consume more water than me. Yeah, I've always pits are good dogs. Pits are excellent dogs. Great dogs. Terriers are super loyal. They get a bad rap. If you bred pits, then they get a bad. I'm not saying that they don't have that locking jaw and they can't be trained to be an absolute tyrant, but that's not their nature. Pits are very friendly, very loyal. They just get a bad rap, and yes, there is the issue with pits, but that's normally the person has created that in the animal. Generally, a dog doesn't. Again, most people don't think that they just don't know. But I've known too many people have had a pit, and they're all awesome. Anybody I've ever known that's had a terrier or a pit or just been super loyal dogs, good with kids, trust them around the kids, and very eager to please. Some a little hard-headed, but that's normally when they're a little juvenile, young. They can be like a lab. Sometimes they can take a little bit longer to come into their adult, if you will. It's kind of the neat thing about about pits is not every one of them's the same. So not my breed. I breed working dogs, but yeah, I think it's pretty funny how people are. Um, and again, there is some bad pits out there. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think it's more of the owner's problem because they didn't raise them correctly, and yeah, I think people make pits really. Um, if a pit is aggressive, most of the time it's because they just weren't raised right, you know. Because pits could be raised where you can't get them to do anything. You could punch them right in their face, and they would never even think twice about. Not saying do that to an animal, but they don't have that bone in them. If they're trained from a young age to not be like that, then they don't ever. It's not even part of their nature at all. Generally, they're a very loving, loyal dog, and very eager to please. And that's what you want in an animal. I'm a dog breeder, and so you definitely need that in a high, in a working dog. Otherwise, that's not a working dog if it's not eager to please, right? you know, but you need that animal to work for 6, 8, 10 hours a day. You know, um, most dogs don't need to work that long, though. A working dog, can do the work of 3 men, in a day, and yeah, they're like kids. You know what I'm saying? They really are. They're like kids. You're not that I insinuate hurting your animals or hurting your kids, but you know, I was talking about this in a stream yesterday, I believe, that when you badmouth a parent in front of another child or in front of your child, they don't like hearing that. I know that happened. My mom used to badmouth my dad, and I love my dad. You know what I'm saying? I love my dad, so I didn't want to hear that. And people forget that. They have some personal thing, and they take that out, and you know. But yeah, we don't need to. We don't need to put that in the other, in their ear, so to speak, is, I guess. Um, but yeah, animals become like kids to us. You know what I mean? They're definitely, and so they're like children, and I've seen people be very abusive to their children, and they still love their parents. It's crazy. Children just want to be loved. You know what I'm saying? There's some people who do some really horrible things um, to children, and the children still love their parents. So pits could be like that too. You know, they can do some horrible things, and they'll forgive you. They won't hold it in. No, they won't. They'll just love you still. That's pretty crazy. Um, yes, I agree. Dogs are one of God's creations. There's proof. If you don't believe in a God, look at dogs. you know. Yeah, there's breeds that take a couple years to come out of their juvenile stage, and pits can be like that. Some pits, and they're not like that at all, and they can come out of it pretty quickly. But some pits I've seen be kind of juvenile for a while, a little hard headed, if you will. They generally grow out of that, though. You can get them out of that hard headedness. I kind of like that about pits too. They get a strong, very strong disposition. So once you train them, they're trained up for life. You don't have to train them twice. Very, very smart. Yeah, like I said, most people they don't have any idea about pits. All they say is, "Oh my God, they're terrible. They're killers," and this bunch of nonsense. And they never own one, never been around one or nothing. I did sales. Like I said, I did sales for 10 years. I never bid by no pit. I got bit 2 times by a working dog, like the dogs that I have. Working dogs. Two times of out selling food, and I went to millions of doors. And I never was afraid of any people like, dude, you're gonna get bit. I cannot believe all the doors you walk up and say, man, I could tell if a dog's gonna bite me before I even get close to it. And if it's gonna bite me, it's gonna come straight up and bite me. Period. So, you know, yeah, I got bit a couple times, but they were for working dogs and not no pits. That's so pretty funny how I had been bit by a pit before, and when I was young, I got my arm mauled up pretty good by a dog that was bad. It was a bad pit. You know, it was a bad owner is what it was. And I was young, and I went up to pet the dog, and it ate the crap out of me in public. You know, it ate my arm up pretty good. So, yeah. But that's the only interaction I've ever had and ever been personally bit by a pit. But again, probably just more of an owner thing than anything. So, anyways, I better this one up. I think it's getting a little late. I'm gonna try to get up and probably try to do something tomorrow on that cabin. I haven't done anything in a minute. I'm feeling a little better, easier to get my boots on here and stuff. So lots of snow out here at this point, but I'm sure there's some things I can do over in that cabin tomorrow. Maybe try to get a couple more things up for sale here, so I get these land payments paid, and then I can move on till next month. Hopefully that weather will be better next month. I can start selling some of the spring stuff that I have out here, and line trimmers and jumping jacks and some of the other stuff, and we'll see. So, but appreciate the chit chat here tonight, guys. Please be on the ready. You know, put on that armor, and think you're definitely going to need it. I do think that you're going to need to have, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 feet of dirt over the top of your head, man. It's coming from above. It's coming from above, guys. Everything that is going to happen is going to come from above, but you better pay attention, because look what's coming from below. Everything that's coming from above is going to be weather-wise. Everything else, it's fake. It's just tech, okay? It's just tech. None of it's real. Just like these eclipses are not real. They're hocus pocus. They're fake. They're foreshadowing what's to come. It's all nonsense. So pay attention to the word. It'll point you in the right direction. It'll show you the reality. It'll show you the truth. That's what it's there to do. He tells you to look up. Look up. Okay? So don't be paying attention to this nonsense, shadows on the ground. I mean, yes, look at it, but this is not real. And so I believe that they're foreshadowing the ending of this country as we know it. So start planning on what you're going to do if this is a completely different country, and run that through your head, what that might be, or what that might be like, because I believe it's going to happen a lot faster than you think it will. And I already see it happening right now as we speak. This is countries being dismantled. We don't have any industry anymore in this country. We produce hospitals, food, and colleges. That's what we have in America. Okay. We're a bunch of consumers is what we are. So better think about what you're going to do when this changes, because I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to get swooped up in this new dragon system, the central bank, digital ball and chain, get you on the tracking, and tracking system, and track all your everything, no more, no more dollars and cents for you. So, yeah, and that's all the dragon pushing all their fent, into the, all that. It's all by design. So definitely start looking for a place to get away from the weather. Listen to me, please. I don't know if there's anywhere for right now where you're at to get away from some serious weather. Okay. I don't know if you have a location, but you need to find a location to get away from the weather soon, because the weather's going to take a lot of lives. Do you understand? It's going to take, weather will dominate this earth very soon, I believe. Potentially this year, if not at the end of this year, but when we come out of this magnetic connection and we hook up on the outside of this, sun, be the only celestial body out in front of the earth, it's game over, man. We've got the bull light system sitting in front of us, all that magnetics, all that stuff's going to get pulled into our atmosphere. So it's going to be a wild ride. And I think you're going to need to have, again, a good chunk of earth over your head if you're going to make it over this next couple years. You know what I'm saying? You better have something over your head. You better find somewhere to put yourself in a cash position. Cash is king, guys. And I'm not talking about dollars and cents. I'm talking about putting yourself. He says the meek will inherit the earth. Be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. Get away from people. Get away from population density. You understand? Population density is going to be the number one factor for people being unalive. The more people you're around that are less prepared, like that knucklehead who came here in the chat earlier, these people are not going to be prepared. And these are the people that they're not going to be thinking with their heads. They're going to be thinking with their gut and their stomach. And they don't act like people who think with their heads when they think with their stomach. So please keep that in mind. Do you want to be down there fighting people for the last box of macaroni and cheese? You know what I'm saying? When people are thinking about their with their stomach, and they've got empty mouths waiting at home, motivated by empty mouths waiting at home. That's their motivation when they leave the house. Screaming, crying children with achy guts, wanting something in it. You think they're going to care when they come across you and you got food? Be careful out there, brothers and sisters. You better think about what you're doing right now. Use your time wisely. I'm not telling you to panic or do anything like that. Get away from some people. That's going to be an issue. I've already done it myself. No, feeding rats. Get away from the cities. Don't hurt anybody. Don't hurt anybody. There's no reason right now. Do not fight flesh and blood. There's principalities, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. There's plenty of battles for us to fight. It's not with our brothers and sisters. It's not with ourselves. It's with these rulers of the darkness of this world. Okay? So have some humanity. They're trying to pin us against each other. They want us to fight with each other. Red team, blue team. They want a revolution. They want us to fight with each other. They want us to have a war. Revolution is to go round and round. Like a revolver, right? Pew, pew, round and round and round. That's a hamster going nowhere on a wheel. Evolution, brothers and sisters, go around the system, evolve. Not like growing another thumb or, a third ear or something so you can hear better, but, evolve. Go around this system. Stop participating in this system. Check out of the system. Everything you can do to not participate in the system is going to help yourself to become more independent of the system. So that's where your focus should be right now. And keep one foot in the system and get one foot out of the system. If the system collapses, you just step out into your own system, not just another day. You understand? Just another day at the farm. So that's how you're going to be successful, is by not fighting people for the last roll of toilet paper to wipe your tail. You understand? You've got enough of it put aside. You've got things put away. Better to have and not need than need not have. And you know what? Everything can be taken from you. So you better have a skill set. That's right, because everything could be taken from you in a moment's notice. So what can you do? What is your skill set? I don't care what you have. What can you do? Start getting your skill set up, brothers and sisters. Start getting your skill set up. I wanted to stop lying. You're filthy, LeBron. You're filthy, nasty, nasty, filthy generation. You people with your drug insinuation, you guys all do the same thing. You all have been programmed. You're like an android, just so you know. You just spit your zeros and your ones. You know, y'all have about the same three things that you say. What a filthy generation this generation is right now, man. All these people being run roughshod by the government. So you got people coming in. That's the person, man, that's going to come take your stuff, guys. That's the person that gets on a YouTube that's going to, that's going to come take what you work so hard, to put aside, So please get yourself independent of the system. So, what a crazy generation we live, where people are now, they have 25 different labels to put on a person. Your mentor is I'm not a Christian and a cracker. Okay. Let's get about that, man. What is with these? See ya. What's with these people talking about? Don't talk about drugs in this channel, please. There's just no nonsense. It's all nonsense. There's a whole bunch of natural remedies. I don't want to hear about your big farm guy. Okay, the biggest drug pusher on this planet is the government. So, remember, they just told everybody to roll up your sleever, right? That's from an older, he was in, actually just removed his moderator status and took him out of the room. So he was, I don't know where, I didn't even, it was kind of weird. So I don't know who that was or whatever, but either way, he was good for a minute, but then the old, the spew just started, the venom started spewing out of him. So anyways, I don't want to stay on here too much longer, guys. Got another minute or two, but please put yourself in a position, guys, where you're not fighting anybody. Do something to not fight with people. Do something to where you can not have to hurt people, man. That's going to be your best defense. Don't fight with anybody. Fight or flight. So now it's probably time to, slowly, methodically check out of the system. See you guys. I'm out here like a bird. I'm like a bird. I want to fly away. Yeah, it's time to fly. Get out of this system. Stop doing it. Stop supporting it. It will dry up quickly, guys. If a lot of us just stop participating in this system, it will dry up. That is called evolution. You invent a system that goes around the current system. That is evolution, brothers and sisters. Hear me out. Go around it. Not a hamster going round and round and round and around in a fight with each other. Red team, blue team, red team, but evolution. Go around the system. Enough people go around the system, it makes the current system obsolete and it dries up all on its own, and nobody needs to throw any metal at anybody. Seriously, it can be done without all this fighting like they want. If enough of us evolve, enough of us go around this system, it makes the current system obsolete. And that's how you beat a system, guys. I know what I'm talking about, man. I'm not a fool. This is how we can beat this system without fighting with each other. So pass this message on to people. Get this message out there. It won't take as many. It's always been the smallest number of people in history who've made the greatest changes, brothers and sisters. Doesn't take masses of people to make great changes. Okay? Be that change that you're looking for, though. You know what I'm saying? In this world. Be the change. Start with the person that's in the mirror, like old Mr. Jackson said, right? I'm starting with the man in the mirror. So definitely, you can make a difference, guys. You really can. I know people think they've lost the power now. Oh, I don't have this. I don't care what you don't have. Look at what your skill set is. Get your skill set up. Get yourself some of the basic necessities. You should be mobile and light anyways. You should be able to move on a dime, keep your head on a swivel. Be ready to go at any moment, because sitting in one place is like a sitting duck. So that's your best bet right now. Start thinking about something of that mindset. Until you get far enough away from people where it's not an issue, you better start making a chance to move and listen, I'm going to give you this one last piece of advice, and then I got to go. When this thing breaks down, and it's going to happen in a sense. Let's say we have an EMP, right? Oh, let's say it's not nefarious and it's the sun that we're already overdue for. Really take this advice. Remember this if this happens. If the grid goes down, the fastest route will take the longest, and the longest route will be the fastest. Yes, it will. Because everybody's going to go try to take the shortest route out of town, guys. I give the best advice on the internet. I'm telling you when it comes to preparedness. So I've been doing it a long time. You're not going to get out of the city, guys. You're not going to leave the city. And I'm going to tell you that right now. You mark my words. I feel very comfortable with this right now. You're not going to get out of the city. Remember I said that when you're stuck on the other side of that fence, when you had a chance to get out from behind that wall, because that wall is going to probably be a wall that you can't even see, a techie millimeter wall. That's right. That's the wall he was talking about. That greatest wall ever that he was going to build wasn't a wall you can see. So you better find where you want to be here soon, because I don't think you're going to make much movement in this country much longer. I believe we're going to see restriction travels again, and I think it's going to be because of this newcomer crisis that we're having. That's going to be their excuse. Watch. I see it being set up, so it's coming, guys. They're going to use these migrants as their playing card. It's sick what they're doing right now. But I'm a reconstructionist. I was a certified investigator at the age of 19, okay? I put this together backwards, guys, and it's easy to see. They're making a two-tier society right in front of your face. They're giving these people all the benefits, and they're not giving anything to the American people now. Remember, there are children dying on the streets of this country, and they're giving people a family of 4 in New York can get up to $20,000 a month in benefits. So you're being set up. I would find a place away from big cities right now. They're getting very dangerous in America, probably more dangerous than a lot of cities around the world right now. Some of these people are getting very entitled. There's people up here in Seattle, Washington, to the north of me, because not a bunch of them up here, but they've been here for a minute, and they had their insurrection and were banging on the windows and entered into the Capitol building up there and were demanding housing, houses. Apart, not their hotel rooms weren't good enough for them. They wanted houses, real housing, houses, apartments. They didn't want to live in a hotel. That's not good enough. They didn't. Their $5,000 gift card and their iPhone, wasn't enough, and their ticket into this country on an airline. They're getting all these benefits, and they're giving these benefits to these people, brothers and sisters. No questions asked. They're building these smart cities or sanctuary cities, just like New York called himself a sanctuary city. Now they have so many people in there that the governor has had to call a state of emergency, and has brought in the state troopers to be in all the different hotels and different buildings that they've converted over for migrant housing. And now they're not calling them migrants anymore, guys. They're calling them newcomers. Newcomers, guys, is what they're calling them. They've changed the verbiage. They do this a lot, guys. So I'm telling you, that's the setup. Listen to what I'm trying to explain to you. They're calling them newcomers. So, oh yeah, it's coming. They're going to top down lockstep lock this country and all the countries down again. But they're going to start with America. I'm pretty certain they're going to start with it on Easter Fools, right? Thanks first, Dad. They're going to start with Easter Fools possibly and pull this a week early, or at least that'll be the start of their, I was thinking if they could shut the lights out soon enough, that could, give them prep time to be ready for that April 8th date that they've got planned with their devil liar comet. And they're going to have their last, hurrah with this Alice symbol and the X that they've drawn over this nation. So that's what I see coming too. Are you planning on this country being taken over by tech? That's it. It'll just be run just like it is, a bunch of people just standing around not doing anything, the silent majority right now, right? Only got a tiny fraction of people being, getting ready. What's really hard to swallow is to watch all the rich, the principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness, and the rulers of the darkness of this world get ready, and not see that anybody else is getting ready as a whole. It's quite alarming, if you ask me. They're all doing it. They're all digging in. They're all dug in. Most of them already. Most of them have been ready. Mr. Kobe and his daughter, they already left years ago, didn't they? How that's been many years since the whole, dumping of the helicopter, you guys, some of these people go underground way early. You understand? And because there's already facilities for them ready, you know what I mean? So I always told my son that you'll know that we're getting closer to this event, not the end of the world. That's years away, bud. That's years away, brothers and sisters. I'm not, but you know that we were getting close to this event when you start seeing actors, singers disappearing at an alarming rate. And we have seen that, in a sense. So some of them will choose to stay up here up on the surface. Oh yeah, no, I'm 98% sure that, yeah, he's, he took his daughter and whatever. They do this, guys. They can still have lives, you know what I'm saying? They come back with all different appearances, and they got the money to do this. The average Joe couldn't pull something like this off, but they can. They have the money to do all this. So, but some of them do this. They they check out earlier. But I told my son that we would be, when you see a lot of them start, and I really thought during the goat, remember, because they didn't make a whole lot of money during the COVID, right? Because all that stuff was shut down and no movie theaters and all. Remember, so they struggled a lot, during that time. So we seen a bunch of them already disappear during that time. I think it gave a bunch of them a chance to drop out of this, so to speak. So, but like I said, there'll be ones that stay on the surface, and these will probably be the ones that get their big, royalties. So, just try to finish up the stream. I may keep rattling. Think I'm going to get out of here, but I just hope people get ready. They're getting ready. You know what I'm saying? They're getting ready. They're all dug in, guys. Remember Zuckerberg's building, they're ready for this event. So please find yourself somewhere safe, away from the weather. You know what I mean? That's it. Don't do it in panic. If a tornado comes over your house, what do? You get in the shelter until the tornado blows over, and then you get out. That's all I'm saying. Turbulent times ahead, brothers and sisters. Turbulent times ahead. Some of us are going to find that cash is king. Cash is king. Cash is king, right? Not money. Like a geocache, something you got to go find that's put away. So remember that. Cash yourself right now. I'm serious. This is a good time to nobody even think about it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody even think about it. What do you mean, don't worry, you'll be okay? What are you talking about, NM? What do you even talk about? What am I talking about? You ask me what I'm talking about. What is coming again? Then you say, don't worry, you'll be okay. What do you mean? What are you talking about? What are you worried about? What are you not worried about? Well, who said anybody was worried about anything? What do you mean? Don't worry about the weather? Is that what you just said? Don't worry about the weather? Thousands of people, sometimes tens of thousands of people are displaced. Yeah. Okay. Bye, NM. You need to worry about the weather. Nah. Sorry. Too much lollipop. Sorry. Can't have that. Wise virgins, brothers and sisters, wise virgins. Don't be foolish. Don't listen to anybody who tells you not to get ready right now. Don't you listen to people like that. They're the kind of people who don't do anything about it. And they're going to end up, that person's been following this channel for a minute, but I think I've been getting a lot of lollipop out of that person and just hadn't been paying attention. So I'm not telling you to worry about anything. I'm telling you to do something about it. Now look at fear, get you up off your ass and does something about that fear so you can make yourself secure and not have that fear. It actually motivates people. Fear motivates people to do something about that fear. It's probably some of the most prepared people on this planet is people who've been called a conspiracy theorist, a tinfoil hat, a prepper, whatever you want to call it, because well, yeah, they had a little bit of fear, but guess what? They did something about that fear. They probably had many fears, didn't they? Oh, but they got many of those fears secured, don't they? And you ain't got nothing because you don't. Oh, well, don't worry. Oh, God will save you. No, be a wise virgin. Put legs on your faith. Belief is an action word, not a thought in your head. A verb, not a noun. Remember, faith is a noun. Belief is a verb. So it's not what you think. So don't tell anybody not to be prepared. Tell people to be wise. He wants you to put legs on faith. Remember, he said, I want to find your loins girded in my service when I return. Oh, no, don't worry about weather. Just let the tornado blow you away. Don't get in the storm shelter. If you have a storm shelter, just stay outside and don't even try to get in the shelter. It's freaking NM. I don't know how long they've been in here, but what an idiotic response. Don't worry about the weather. Yeah, do something about the weather so that you have a place to get away from it, and then you get away from it, and then the weather blows over, and then you get out away from the weather. Your house, whatever your shelter or whatever. It's not a panic thing. It gives you the security. So definitely don't tell people not to prepare, or I'll throw you out of my channel real quick, because you're telling people to be going in the other direction. And then they're going to have to be going and getting oil when the bride, right? Remember the parable, the wise and foot, which direction were they going when he came? The wrong direction, weren't they? They were going to the store to get, don't worry about a weather item. Oh, well, heck, I might need an umbrella. It's raining today. Oh, don't worry. Just let it rain buckets of water on your head. Don't worry about the weather. Don't worry about that. We're going into a grand solar minimum. This earth is going to continue to get colder and colder and colder and colder and colder over the next 2-3 solar cycles. It's going to be so cold, we're going to be in an ice age again. Are you ready for that? You know what I'm saying? Are you ready to go into the ice age? You have a plan for the ice age? We were in ice age. If you say ice age, people think thousands of years ago. We were in an ice age in the 1800s, mini ice age in the 1700s, the Dalton and the Maunder minimums. Those were both ice ages, mini ice ages. So it wasn't thousands of years ago we were in an ice age. We're going back into an ice age right now. We're 6,000 years into a 90,000 year cycle. There's a lot of things that are going on in this earth that people have no idea about. So get ready for weather. Don't get ready for politics. Don't get ready for zombies. Don't get ready for doom and gloom. No fear porn. I don't even do the whole pucular thing. The whole, we're going to drop a puke on you, right? I don't care about that. I don't, that's not anything I would even, not even concerned about that. I don't think that's going to happen. Not in the capacity that you've seen on television. Nope. Sure, you might see a cloud, but what is that? What do we talk about? Well, the event that's going to happen will be the whole earth. There's nothing on this earth that's going to, and when we have an event from the sun, we have an electrical connection, and we have it's a global circuit. Okay. So the whole earth is attached. There's no place that will escape this event that's going to happen from the sun. You're not going to get away from this, as far as it will have more effects in some places, but it will completely, and what it does before, guys, I don't think people understand what could happen on this earth. Remember, we have woolly mammoths completely frozen in ice, sitting with buttercup tea kettles in their bellies, in their mouth, little flowers. How do you go from eating flowers to frozen? Well, because the way the circuit of this earth works, and the way that if we get hit from that event, that creates that vacuum of pressure. If you understand, it's displacement. If you take something from here, you got to give it over here. Do you understand? Right? So if it hits the one side of the earth, it creates that heat, that pressure. It's going to create a vacuum and create a literally frozen on, because it's going to pull all that pressure out, and that's how we have woolly mammoths sitting completely frozen solid, with flowers in their mouth, because we had an event on one side of this earth, irregardless of the shape. I don't care. And it went around the backside. This can do it on whatever you believe. We live under a dome. I'm not going to talk about that. This is how we have this, again, animals frozen completely solid with, flowers in their mouth. So something happened like that. That's called, blast freezing, something like on a boat in Alaska. That's what happens, And that's what, so it might be in one place, one sport, but this is going to be, and the last time we were in this celestial alignment that we're about to go into on 10/24/24, we were there on 79 AD, and our Earth got hammered in 79 AD. Pompeii was covered in ashes. Vesuvius went off. We were in a huge upheaval event. So we are going into this extinction event. If one of our volcanism goes off and it blots out the sun, that's probably the way that we would see some kind of pucular, that's actually called, I can probably say that because that's not the same. That's called a nuclear winter. When the earth gets blotted out, the sun gets blotted out by particulate from the ash, from one of these volcanoes. That's how we've gone into several of these grand solar minimums. So we're going into this already. This Earth is already starting to, and there's another event, guys, that I want to explain to you that to look into. I better get the heck off here. I'm not sure if you know what the AMOC is. The Atlantic Multi-Oscillation Overturning of the currents. This is the overturning that happens in the upper portion of the Atlantic, where it goes into what is called the mid-Atlantic slump. And all that warm water comes and it drops down into the Atlantic. It flows back down through and down, back around. I think I got a picture of it. But anyways, it's all connected, okay? And when we have one of these Heimrich events, the AMOC, when we have one of these Heimrich events, what happens is that mid-Atlantic overturning, instead of going and slumping into the mid-Atlantic or up there towards the north of the mid-Atlantic, okay, it doesn't slump down. It goes up into our northern portion of our Antarctic, right? Not Antarctica, excuse me, the Arctic. And it starts melting all the glaciers from underneath, not on top, from underneath. That changes the salinity, the specific gravity of our oceans, depending on how much water to salt ratio. That's called specific gravity, okay? Or the salinity of the water. And that it changes the buoyancy. That changes the currents, brothers and sisters. And when this happens, we go into an ice age like that. I mean, it happens fast. And that's where you see your movie The Day After, where everybody's frozen and all that. I'm telling you, they're talking about this right now, guys, and it's already starting to happen. Okay? So this is something I'd like you to look into. It's called the AMOC. This is a cycle of our oceans. And when we have these, what is called Heimrich events, that's what happens, is that mid-Atlantic doesn't slump off down into the ocean. It continues on up into the Arctic, and it melts all the glaciers, because remember, there's just the tip of the iceberg. The most of that's underneath, okay? And that's going to cause the salinity to change. It's going to change the specific gravity, the buoyancy, and that's going to change the currents on this Earth, which causes that it changes and it goes like that, guys. We're going to snap when we're going to go into an ice age. If that happens, it won't take long. I'm telling you, it won't take long. And that is called a Heimrich event. And I suggest you look at it. They happen every 6,000 years. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, like a clock. They happen. So we're there again on the 12,000 year cycle, like I told you guys. So we're due for all these things to happen. This Earth is going to get overwhelmed by weather. People aren't going to care who the pretendant is or who to vote for or none of this nonsense. They're going to go, how do I get away from this stuff coming from out of the sky? It's going to be quite, it's going to get loud. I told somebody that today. You'll know it's happening when you need earplugs, okay? That's when it's really happening. Oh, yeah, when you need earplugs. So do you have hearing protection? Do you have hearing protection close by where you know you can get to it? That makes a big difference, guys. When your sound is taken out, you don't operate very well. Why did they throw a stun and concussion, at you? I know we're already in a magnetic excursion right now. The last time it happened, Anita, used to happen every 300 to 360,000 years. Ding, 360,000 years. Ding, 360. Ding, a magnetic excursion. Where not a pole shift. A pole shift is where the compass, if you went outside, it'd be pointing to the north. Or the magnetics of our Earth change. We're in the middle of a magnetic excursion that started back in 1859 when we had a solar flare, which was called the Carrington event in 1859, and it sent the Earth's magnetics migrating away from where it's heading now. It turned around in 1900 and started heading in the same direction that it is heading in currently, in an easterly direction. It went from 1900 to 1990, and it traveled over 500 miles. From 1990 today, it's traveled almost 1,300 miles. So it's increased in intensity. The last time we had a magnetic excursion, yes, we are overdue for a full pole reversal, a pole magnetic shift. That happened 780,000 years ago. So we are in the middle of an excursion right now. Most people who talk about pole shift don't know their head from their tail. I've been studying this magnetic excursion. Notice I don't call it a pole shift for over 15 years plus. I've got a little bit more time in it than that. I can send you to the best person that I know on the earth right now that actually plots, that has a tri-meg system. I'm a prior police officer, a prior traffic reconstructionist. And if I'm going to document something on a report, I have to be able to measure it to scale, and I have to be able to document exactly, if I've got multiple fatalities and I'm documenting body parts and stuff, I need to use triangulation, not just pull one measurement. I need to pull 3 measurements to triangulate exactly where that item is. That's what Mr. Maverick Star on this platform has. He has what is called the tri-meg system, where he pulls measurements from 3 separate locations around, on this earth, and it calculates every 3 seconds. It takes a measurement of where the Earth's magnetics are, and it's called the tri-meg system. And he plots once a month where the pole is at. I've been watching him for, ever since his channel started. It was Maverick Star, Mr. Maverick Star. Now it's Mr. Maverick Star Reloaded because they took his channel down. But he does experiments on this. When we hit that 30 degree or 40, to 45 degree mark, it goes from going nice and slow, and then it hits that 40 to 45 degree mark, and it goes wham back around like that fast. I mean, it hauls what. So the last time that happened was 780,000 years ago. Okay. It happened between the 40 to 45 degree mark. We're already past the 40 degree mark. And so we're probably 2 years away from hitting that 45 degree mark. I believe we'll hit this reversal way before then, the full reversal, or it'll just go back to where it was. And that's what a magnetic excursion is. We've had many of those, several since, but with not a full reversal. So hopefully that's a little more, I don't know what information or who you're pulling it from, but there are people covering the magnetic excursion, but they call it pole shift. And that's not, a pole shift is when you have a complete reversal of the magnetics. I'll do more on this on the channel. If you subscribe to me, and if you're not already, I'll cover this again. This is something we need to cover. We're in the middle of a magnetic excursion right now. We're experiencing a weakened magnetosphere. We're about ready to go into a celestial alignment we were in over 2,600 years ago in the year 79 AD, where the 4 stars that are our largest gas giants, called our Jovian stars, that is Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, form a square in our outer solar system and pin us in that magnetism, and it rocked this Earth on 79 AD. Pompeii was covered in ashes, Vesuvius went off, volcanism was at increase, this Earth was getting hammered. We're going back in this year in 10/24/24, right before the old selection. What do you know? And this Earth is going to get hammered. And it's already starting to get hammered. We had sneaker waves in Marshall Islands. This water is already starting to wash up onto the land. San Diego a couple times. You know, it's already happening, guys. I believe that we'll see a tidal shift is what I'm calling for. We haven't seen the 400 foot to 100 foot raising or lowering of our oceans, and we didn't see it the last time that we were pinned in, but our shields were at 100%. Now they've weakened that magnetic canopy or magnetic protection by over 25%. I feel confident now to say over 25%. So this Earth is going to be overwhelmed and dominated by weather, not politics, not zombies, not nuclear, none of that. Weather will dominate. That's why I banned NM from this channel. I've been in here for a minute, but don't tell me to not worry about weather. Weather is going to dominate this Earth. Yeah, it's changing already, isn't it? Mental health recovery. It's already shifting. There's already shifting going on. And it's because our jet streams are twisted. If you look at our upper atmosphere, you can look at an app called the Knoll School, Knoll, Knoll School map. And you can look at all the upper wind maps, all the different levels, all the different layers, and you can see all the different wind speeds, and you can see the jet streams. You guys, the jet streams used to stay nice and tight. We have a polar jet stream and a subtropical jet stream, right? The equator, a subtropical jet stream, and the polar jet stream. Those always stay nice and tight. You get a little mixing sometimes with those two, but not very often. That subtropical jet stream, I've never seen it in 20 years of watching this plus cross over the equator. We're having that happen now. We have weather that's crossing over the equator, coming all the way up into the Arctic and coming all the way back down. Brothers, sisters, this jet stream is changing rapidly and breaking apart. And it's not that nice polar jet stream at the top, you know, weather coming from the west to the east in the America. That's all gone. We don't have that jet. Same thing, and that's happening in the southern portion down where mental health recovery is at. They have a southern, there's 4 poles on this Earth, not one North Pole. There's 2 poles to the north that drag that pole from what it's doing now, and 2 to the south. That pole is coming up out of the South Pole right now too. Yeah, we have a South Pole too, guys. You know, this excursion, they will meet somewhere in the middle, you guys. This is happening. You know, that's what I'm saying. They've already entered the 6th extinction event back, you know, 2020 on 12/21, we already conjuncted Jupiter and Saturn, which marked us to leave the age of Pisces and enter into the age of Aquarius. We're already in the new age. We're already in this new Pluto already entered into Aquarius, guys. There's no more. We are in this new age. You know, we are in this new age, and so we've entered the extinction cycle. When we hit that 12,000 year mark, 6,000 years ago was the half cycle. Pole position has been changing slowly. No, that's not true. First, that's that's not anywhere close to the truth. The pole has been increasing in intensity and going faster. I said it traveled 500 miles from 1990 or from 1900 to 1990, and it's traveled over 1,300 miles from 1990 till today. It stopped in February. It turned around and went the wrong way. It hasn't done that since what, 1899? It turned around and went faster than it ever has. It stopped again. It turned around. It headed back in the same direction. Okay. True North has moved. Yes, it has. They've had to repaint the runways first. What are you talking about? You mean the pole? Yeah, that fixed pole stays up there. The magnetics, though, has moved. Absolutely. They've had to repaint the runways multiple times. So that's 100% fallacy and incorrect. The magnetics of this Earth has been shifting, and it's been coming up out of the south. You can see it in compasses. So no, it has moved in a considerable amount, and they've had to paint the runways more than one time. So no worries. That's not what I'm saying. That's the we've been moving. And you guys, if you take a magnet, if this was a magnet and you put this in a fire, and I have a live stream, 2 hours and 56 minutes, I was only supposed to be on here for an hour, that's not going to be a magnet anymore. Heat makes magnetism dissipate. That magnet, as that pole races towards the equator, it's going to get hotter and hotter and go faster and faster as it gets closer to the equator because it's hotter at the equator, correct? So it will increase intensity and faster as it gets, and it has. So, yeah, the compass has moved. People can say they've already seen their compasses move. So people's compasses are off. So I wouldn't rely on a compass anymore. So there's plenty of people, there's lots of people who've shown that the compasses have moved dramatically. Just depends on which part of the Earth you're on, because the magnetism is different in different locations. So maybe where you're at, but there's places where their magnets are way over to this direction because that's the way the strong intensity is growing over Russia and weakening over Canada. I told you there's 4 poles. This one pulls this one over here. When this one gets stronger, this one's getting weaker over, the magnetic intensity is getting weaker over Canada and stronger over Russia. That's where it's headed. That's where the pole's headed. That's where it's been before. So I've studied this, like I said, for 15 years. A lot of people get this all wrong. They have no understanding of the way a magnetic excursion works. They don't think that we have 4 poles. They think we have 1 pole. So something's got to tug one over there. It's magnetics, guys. 2 magnetics. Come on. They don't talk about this. They think that there's 1 pole here. There's 4 poles on this Earth, 4 magnetics. I don't call it pole shift. It's a magnetic excursion. But these, if you want to call them poles, we'll call them poles so you know what we're talking about. But this pole pulls this pole. This one weakens. This one gets stronger. That's what's been causing this excursion that we're in since 1859. You guys, this started way back in the 1800s. So this isn't new news. This is something our grandparents knew about. You know what I'm saying? This is something you should be well studied. There's plenty of information about this. I can show you all the pin markers of where this, excursion has been happening. It's been documented, Mr. Maverick Star is not the only person, but he has a better system even than NASA has. He has muon detectors. He detects CO2, oxygen. Go over to poleshiftnews.com or Earth Health at a Glance and link up with Mr. Maverick Star. He's from the UK. He's a little bit of a grifter, but he funds his laboratory with his observatory with donations. And he's a true scientist. He uses the scientific method. And I've been watching him since his channel started, 12 years, whenever he's had his channel up. So he probably is hands down the best information on the current magnetic excursion. So, yeah. So just the magnetics have been moving. You know what I'm saying? The magnetics, first is that all that's happening is the magnetic intensity is increasing over Russia and weakening. You can see it. Go look at these maps. You can see that they do animations over this. You can see the intensity change in color. It's, real dark and it goes yellow, and then you can see that pole move, and it's getting more intense over here. That's all it is. It's not, the people really just listen to too much NASA crap and, all this other, because NASA puts out their own poll, there's other locations, other people that are documenting this excursion. I told you, it's been documented since the 1800s. This is not new news. This stuff, our grandparents were aware that this was happening, but What's interesting is that at this shift where that compass would actually be pointed to the south, that used to happen every 300 to 360,000 years, like a clock, over and over and over again, did not happen. That 360, we actually has been over 780,000 years since if you went outside, your compass would be pointed to the south instead of the north. You know what I'm saying? It would be pointed to the south. That's been 780,000 years ago. The last time that it made a full reversal where the compass would be pointing down, it happened between 40 to 45 degrees. You guys, we're like 2 years off from it hitting the 45-degree mark. We already passed the 40-degree mark. Somewhere between 40 to 45 degrees. Guys, if you take two magnets, right? If you took two magnets, let's say, you know, this was a magnet. Oh, okay, cool. I got another one. Here we go. This is pretty interesting. You can get two magnets and do this yourself. If you get two magnets, guys, and put them on a string, okay? If this is the, we can call this the positive side. We'll call this the negative side, and this the positive side. No, this is the negative side because it's got the black mirror on it. This is the positive side. I don't know. That's got the camera on it. Okay, this is the positive side. Make up your mind, would you, Tracy? This is the negative side. Okay, guys? If we take these two and we stick them together, remember, this is the positive side. So what's that going to do? That's going to stick together, right? That's positive magnetism. I can't pull them apart because I got positive magnetism, right? That's, hold on. All right, so well, that one turned on. I turn them around, right? Turn them around, and then I can't stick them together, right? They won't go together, right? That's how you move that one on the desk. That's how that pushes that one over. That's called negative magnetism, right? So you got positive and negative, right? Everybody tracking in the room? Are we tracking? If I take this positive, and I take this one and I turn it over, remember, and I push this one here towards this one, it's going to get to a certain point where it's going to go, remember? There's a certain point to where it's going to right itself. Okay? That happens, guys, at the 40-degree mark. It comes up to this like this. You can see this. If you take a magnet and a compass, you guys, you take a magnet and a compass, and you introduce that magnetic source to that compass, you're going to see that it'll pull that compass around, and then once it reaches 40 degrees, it'll right that compass around. So that's what I'm showing you, the same experiment here with two magnetism. If you turn that around, it's going to hit the 40-degree mark, and then it's going to have a little bit of wiggle, and then it's going to turn around and right itself. Okay? That's magnetism. I believe this is how our poles do what they do, and then they connect, and they either lock up down here or lock up here, because it's just the magnetic intensity. They eventually either meet in the middle, and then we'll have a poles on completely different locations on this earth. Somewhere in Russia, somewhere in Brazil. And then the cold follows the magnetic intensity. The cold follows the magnetic intensity. That's why there's cold on the top, if you're into the ball model, and cold on the bottom. Correct? Cold on the top, that keeps that nice tight pole. That's where our auroras are. That keeps that magnet pointed to the north. Get it? So we have a magnetism in the south. We have a south pole that's wandered out of there in a crazy amount of time, guys. It took the magnetism from 1859 to 1900 to get almost over towards Siberia, Russia. The pole has come racing out of the south in the last 5 years, guys, and is even out of Antarctica now. Yep, lightning from the ground to the sky. There you go. That's that reverse polarity that's already starting to happen. I warned of this first die. You can ask my son. 10 years ago, I talked about that happening, and it's already starting to happen. You can find ground to air lightning right now. lots of video footage of it coming up out of the ground. So we're already starting to see that magnetic in reverse. Nailed it. You got it, man. You're sharp. So that's part of, because it's just part of this global electric circuit, and we have it connected to our sky. It goes right through our earth. Yep, you got it. So there's no way you can't tell me that in these next, whatever, what do we got, 200 and some days, guys? This is going to affect our earth, and it's going to affect our weather a lot. We are experiencing something we haven't seen in our lifetimes, guys. If we go through a full reversal, that's never been recorded in our lifetimes when humans have been on the earth. So this is an amazing time. We are living in a time there's been other magnetic excursions, but if we have a full reversal, guys, where the south, that compass will be pointed to the south now, that's going to change the weather on this earth. Trust me. And fast, really fast. I'm thinking about straight line winds, and 200-300 mile an hour winds, maybe up to 800 miles an hour. If this atmosphere peels back anymore, guys, it's yeah. How about the wind? Let's go back down to 200 miles an hour. You got a plan if the wind blows for 200 miles an hour for 2 weeks straight? You have a plan for that? 200 mile an hour straight line winds on the surface, 200 miles an hour for 2 weeks straight. Remember I told you need ear plugs? You need goggles too, guys. Some kind of eye protection, please. Something to cover your whole, give yourself, so you can go outside if you need to. There's still things you're going to probably need to. I told you need to find a place underneath the ground. Didn't I already? 5-6 feet of dirt on top of you? I already told you that. So you should be there by the time that, 200 mile an hour winds blowing for 2 weeks straight, right? Better have that place on the ground that I tell you. It doesn't matter if you have it and then it doesn't happen. It doesn't matter. It's better to have and not need than need not have. You know what I'm saying? It's there if you need it, like car insurance, like Allstate. You're in good hands, remember? Because you have that put away for a rainy day or a tornado-y day or a 200 mile an hour wind day. 2, 3, 4, 7, 10, 12, 14, 2 weeks. Remember I said, and then it stops. And hopefully it didn't blow all your cover. Man, I got something in my eye. And then you get out and you're like, holy crap, look at that. There's the neighbor's truck in our yard. How the heck did that get over here? Where's the neighbor? I don't know. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, Toto. Things are going to be changed on the surface, I'm sure, guys, so to speak. So we can make it through this, though, guys. Many of us will. Some of us, I started digging in more than 5 years ago. So I dug by hand because I don't have money. So I dug and I dug and I dug and I dug thousands, tens of thousands of buckets, 10 gallons at a time. One bucket on one side, one bucket on the other. Out the hole it goes. So 4.5 years later, hole's been dug. It's ready to go. Shelter's in place. Yeah, don't say that first word after the underground. Try to take that, Anita, out of your vocabulary. If you can, that triggers the NSA word, just so you know. But the other one's okay. And then that doesn't alarm everybody because everybody should have a storm shelter. Heck, I mean, every place in Israel has a shelter underneath it. So why not? It's always 70 and sunny. Hey, I need to put in a shelter. I heard that we were, potentially California's got tornadoes now, guys. Yeah, dueling tornadoes. We had tornadoes again in California, guys. Yeah, so you're like, hey, I heard that this, I just thought I'd be smart and put a little 10 by 10 little thing in the ground here for the weather. It's nothing out of alarm, just a shelter. Just a nice little storm shelter for myself to stay away from the weather. Doesn't cause any alarms. Don't say bunker. Don't say zombies. Don't say nuclear. Don't say that. Just, guys, I'm trying to help you. There's a reason why I couldn't have anybody dig. I was using the wrong vocabulary. Because actually, after I figured that out, it was too late. I had already dug for 4 years. Once I figured out how to change up my verbiage, actually had somebody to come dig me a 50-foot hole right next to the 50-foot hole that I just took 4.5 years to dig. And they dug it in less than 3 days. Cost me a fortune, but the hole's there ready to build my underground house. I won't have to dig for 4.5 years now. Woohoo! Heck yeah, boys. But shelter's in place. 50-foot shelter. I could put 150 feet of dirt on it. It's a true, like Atlas Shelters built their very first structures were built out of a high-grade spun culvert. So you can put 150 feet of earth on it. So we'll see. Some earth blows over the top of me. Maybe I'll give him some more cover or something. Who knows? Shelter in place or be at your bug out already. Don't go to your bug out. Live at your bug out. How about that? You're not making it to your bug out. I guarantee if there was 100 of you in this room, none of you are getting out of the city. I guarantee if there was 1,000 of you in this room, one of you might get out of the city. Probably not. If there was 3,000 of you, maybe one or two of you get out. You're not getting out of the city, guys. This has been hitting me so hard in the last couple of days. I'm so safe where I'm at, so to speak, in the country, because they're not going to let you out of the city. They're not going to let you out of the city. All this people wandering out of the, all zombie. Nope. It's not going to go down like that. Sorry, you thought it was going to be Mad Max 2 already, didn't you? Ain't going down like this. It's a controlled demolition. It's a controlled demolition. Remember, dropped 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes? It's controlled. So, exactly. 45 of them bad boys, right? Cut them off at the base. So, yeah, this is a controlled demolition of this country, and it's happened right before your eyes. Whether you realize it's happened or not, it doesn't matter. It is happening. So, you're going to defend a lot more well than I really been thinking a lot about this. And I could be wrong, but I believe the country, they want people that are low-hanging fruit. Most of the people that already took the Jabadooski, their mask goes, and they love their convenience, and they love their city, sedentary, lifestyle to drive to the Starbucks or to the, to the Piggly Wiggly or whatever, to get their red shots of Red Bull and whatever. I don't know what people drink at those stands, but anyways, convenience. And you're going to offend a lot better in the country. And I don't think this is going to be like we've seen in these movies. Eventually they might send some robots out to the country, but I don't think they're going to come out to the country like everybody thinks. Oh, they might be patrolling the streets, in blue helmets or something like that. But I don't think so. I really think most of the people are going to be in the cities, and you're not getting out. Hotel California, you can check in, but you can never leave. Yes, Anita, that's just fine. That's perfect. That's why I've been trying to tell people, find the location around you. There are lots of chasms and holes all over this earth. It's a very porous earth. So if you can't dig something, find something that's already there, So there's lots of chasms on this earth, okay? And you don't need something that deep. You're not trying to go, it's just something to get away from the weather, and then when the weather blows over, you get out. That's it. It's not doom and gloom. It's like, oh, hey, well, how long does a tornado take to blow over normally? What? That's gone in like 3 or 5 minutes, guys. Think about that. How long does a tornado take to blow over your house? Right? 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You ain't even in there that long. You built all that shelter for that? Yeah, whatever. Just storm blew over, it got out. You might not even be there that long, guys, but you'd be glad that you have it. So that's the most solid advice I can give you right now. And look around, and you should see that the rich have already done it. The government has already done it. Seed vaults, DUMBs, deep underground military bases, they've already done it. The actors are all talking about theirs now. Oh, I got one. I got one too. We got one, when you become very wealthy and you bought enough stuff, guys, you eventually, I know the biggest shelter builder on the planet, and you eventually it's one of the things that they buy. They use it as like a lot of people have a lot of money. They build them out just like it's like a little man room. You know what I mean? Or a she room down there for your wife or something that's all decked out with, you know, and they entertain with it, and they use it as that, so to speak, and then it's there if they need it. So, a lot of people don't think about this as a big fear factor type of deal. They think of it as a wise and smart thing to do. So, I'd recommend you look into that. Okay, there are a lot of different options to go. Um, one of the more affordable ways is to do concrete block and rebar. Is probably the most affordable way to do it. Concrete, block, and rebar, and your lid is going to be your your biggest, tackle that you can do. But look, there's plenty of ways to do lids and keep yourself safe so nothing comes down on top of you. You're not putting 100 feet of earth on top of your head. You're putting 5, 6, 8, 10 feet of dirt on your head. You're not digging, maybe 1 story down at the very most. Not talking about putting something 150 feet down. Mine's 28 feet down from the bottom of this cabin, from where I'm sitting right now. That's where mine sits at, 28 feet down. So, but where I chose to put mine, I'm doing a bunch of backfill, and so I'll completely change the light. You won't even be able to see it. It'll be just people already. I've had people drive right over it right now. They don't even know it's there. So already, and I haven't even finished it. So get your act together. No, you can't bury Connex containers. They'll collapse in on you. So don't do that. Look into burying Connex containers. They can be done, but they have to support all the sides. They're not meant to be buried. They will cave in. You can probably put 2 or 3 feet of earth over the top of it with a little bit of support, but Connex are not meant to be buried. They can stack them like cubes, but they're not meant to be covered in the earth. The bottoms don't, they're not waterproof. So they will leak from the bottom. I've looked in all this because I've done this. I said I have a 50-foot storm shelter, so I've looked into all this. So your best bet is a spun culvert, guys. So shy away from the Connexes that you can't bury those. You can, but you need to support the walls and weld. It's a lot of money that goes into getting a Connex to be able to bury it properly, to put 8 or 10 feet of dirt without the thing collapsing in on you. They're not built like that. So if you ever stood on the top of a Connex, they move around. They're not, they're not as solid as they work great like Lincoln logs. You can stack them like houses and do that, but they're not meant to be buried. Okay, look into that before. They can be, but it takes a lot of shoring them up. The corners. Yeah. So what you can bury, and how I've done mine, because I looked into all this stuff, decades before I ever did it. Takes a lot of planning to do something like this, guys. Is the spun culverts. They have them in 8 and 10-foot sections, 20-foot sections, and they're 8 and 10 foot tall. Generally, you can get whatever you can get. If you can get an 8, you can get a 10. It doesn't matter. Get whatever you can find. And you can bury 150 feet of dirt on a culvert. They're meant to be buried 150 feet with 150 feet of dirt on top of them. So I assure you, build that and you will not get crushed. Okay? You're not going to get... I imagine those have a pretty big... weight. I look into it. You can look that up, Anita. You can look up, look up concrete culvert and look up you're going to have to look up I'm sure they make them in a different, but I'm sure there's a standard, what I'm saying? There's a standard that it has to be for a certain length, and then that will tell you how much earth you can put on that. I don't think you can put as much as you can put on a spun culvert, you know. But I'm sure you can put 10 or 15 or 20 feet over those. And you don't need to go 30 feet under the ground. One story is more than enough, in my opinion. I think that'll be fine with high winds and all of that too. You will try to put it in an area that you can get it down. And but excellent question, Nia. Thank you. That's a great question, because that if you can get access to that, I think that would work just fine. Just fine. I don't see that thing caving in on you. It's just too thick of concrete. It's formed. It's poured. You know. So I don't want to give you any bad information. I'm certain about the Connex because I was looking into burying a Connex myself, but I do think the concrete culverts can be buried probably 20 or 30 feet under the ground. So I think they'd be perfect if you can find even a 10-footer, you guys, a 10-footer. I think some of those things are 8 foot tall, 10 foot tall, like Anita was talking about. A 10-foot lake would be fine. You don't need to, you go in there, you get in there, you don't live in it. I plan on building an underground house to live in, but I'm still going to spend most of my time on the surface. So, but you're not living in it, okay? You know what I'm saying? You're, oh, it just got warm in here. All of a sudden, that fireplace kicked on the heat. All right, cool. Oh, sorry to yawn. Oh, another yawn. That's good. I'm getting tired. I'll never get tired. But I'm glad that some of you guys are listening to me. I hope you can do something about this, you guys. This takes some planning to do. It's not easy to dig a hole, but you can dig a 10-foot hole, a 10 by 10 hole. By 10, that's something that, you know, you and somebody else or you by yourself. I dug a 50-foot by 10 by 10 hole. It took me years to dig, but you know, if I can dig 50 feet, you can do 10. You know what I mean? You got a husband, you got a wife, you got kids, get to digging, honey. You know, he said he wants to find our loins girded in his service when he returns. Get a shovel and start digging. He said we need an ark. Be wise like Noah, wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. I don't want to fight the weather. Okay, I don't want to fight with the weather. So I'm going to do something about it. So, all right, I feel like a couple of you guys are honestly hearing me. A lot of times when I talk about this underground stuff, I think people just lose their brains, you know. Think about this too. The benefit, if you can move somewhere where you can move below the frost line, the Earth's core temperature is about 60 to 65 degrees. The reason why all humans should live under the ground and not on the surface is so you don't have a heating bill. Your temperature down in your underground house is going to be about 60 to 62 degrees in the middle of the summer. When it's 110 degrees, it's scorching hot on the surface, and it's 62 degrees in your shelter. Are you going to put the heat on to make it 70? Or are you going to just go down there like, whoo, it's like a morgue in here, baby. Oh, this feels good in here at 62, boys. I tell you, yeah, core temperature, 62, you know, it's 20 below up on the surface. You got to heat your house. When you think about the temperature, you got to get your house up to, it's 62 degrees down there. I wake up in my cabin with the fire out here. Now, this cabin I didn't insulate like I've done the other cabin. You know what I'm saying? This is in the 40s sometimes in the morning here. And I've had it 36, 37 degrees when I woke up because I went to bed early and slept in a little late and didn't put the fire on. I mean, I see my breath in here cold, you know, 30s cold. So imagine being 62 degrees. It'd be warmer under the ground than it is with this fire going in this cabin. I mean, it's pointless to live on the surface, guys. It really is. It's actually quite ignorant. I have this little joke because I don't believe in aliens but, you know, humans are the first species to live on the surface of their rock because it doesn't make any sense to live on the surface. So you live below the ground and you work above and you do your things. But at night, the end of it, you go down there and you don't have a power bill to heat and cool your house. That's the most idiocracy thing in the world if you think about it. Think how much people spend on energy bills, right? All this energy crisis, right? Really? How about we just dig down below the core temperature of the earth and we can set up a safe place and just stay warm down there? I mean, heck, I could wake up in the morning at 62 and that's a good temperature. That's not even cold compared to 39 and 42 and 45, when everything gets that cold, because the way my thing is set up like a big brick, my walls are this thick of wood. I didn't put it takes a minute. It takes a couple hours sometimes to heat the house up, get the cabin warm. So, yeah, getting below the surface makes sense. Think about all the waste in it. I mean, come on, if it's 70, you want to get this house to 70 degrees. I wake up, it's 40 degrees, right? I got to get this cabin up 30 degrees in temperature. If it's 10 below zero, right? Don't get on top of him. If it's 10 below zero and I want to bring it to 70 degrees, how was that? Okay, back down to zero. Holy crap, that's a lot of math there, guys. That's a lot of heat. That's a lot of dollars coming out of your pocket. So it works too for this solar minimum that we're going into, guys. People are going to have to learn how to get under the ground. A lot of these big houses and stuff are not going to be occupied. People will not be able to heat a huge house. They'll be unoccupied, guys, here soon. All these big mansions and stuff, you'll be able to buy up this stuff. All these big sky-rise buildings, people ain't going to live in this stuff. You need a small space that you can heat and cool if you're living on top of the surface, or you're going to have to get under the surface to get through this next solar minimum. So, all right, let's leave it at that. Appreciate it. I feel like some of you guys are listening, so that's valuable to me. If any of you guys want to donate to what I'm doing out here, I'm still, I got robbed all my money out of my bank accounts and stuff. And police ended up catching them, but it's going to take me a while. So anybody can help me out, and you're not in any way, you have all your preps. I have a link in my description of my Cash App and a PayPal. So not required. I'll always keep coming in here and try to keep giving you guys these pointers, and hopefully it's worth more than its weight in gold. So and hopefully it'll help you so you don't struggle in the future. So I appreciate your time this evening, and thanks for this late night talk into the morning time here. I'll see you guys on the next live stream, and get your preps up. Be ready. Be wise. Okay. Cool. Thank you so much for coming in, son. Appreciate it. I'm getting a little bit tired here, so I better get to bed. I better do something tomorrow here. Tacos for breakfast, guys. Tacos for breakfast. I had tacos for dinner. I think I'm going to have tacos for breakfast. Maybe tostadas. All right. Staying in God's word, guys. Please. Thank you again for your eyes and ears. And thanks for anybody who subscribed to the channel. I think we're getting pretty close to that 3,000 hour mark here. So maybe by the end of this week, we'll hit that mark. All right. Thank you again for all your time. If you can do me a favor, if you can't give me a donation, which is not required, if you have any extra time, would you go click on one of my lives, find one that's really long, find a longer one, and you just mute me. You don't have to listen to me. I understand I ramble on forever and ever. Okay. Put that on in the background and hit mute and just let it run for me if you could. If you're not doing anything, just set it to the side, set your phone down or whatever, and run me out some more hours, guys, so I can try to get this channel monetized. I was really happy that I've gotten 3 or 4 Cash Apps, and I've got the land payment that if I missed a land payment, that's the one I've been paying on for almost 4 years. 4 years, almost 5 now. If I miss that land payment, it goes directly back to the land company. So I have enough to pay that now. So I'm really stoked about that. I was really super worried about that. This other land payments, I've never missed them, guys, in 10 years. So I think if I miss my land payments this month, it's not going to be the end of the world. But I'm not used to it. And so I'm hoping that I put up my generator for sale. I haven't got one hit on it. So I don't know. Something weird. I still think they've got my channel unlocked. I just can't seem to. How do you not get a hit on it? I don't know. It is what it is. But anyways, I'm gonna probably try to get back to work tomorrow on these cabins. I've got to get
some kind of stream coming in out here. I can't just sit out here and do live streams for 14, 15 hours a day. I have been live streaming almost all day, every day. So it's in the description. It's Lanecountychoppers Mental Health Recovery. It's Tracy Werner, and it's in my description at Lanecountychoppers@gmail.com. And you should be able to find it in the description of this video. And again, I appreciate you've helped. So I appreciate it, guys. Again, I don't know why I don't know why he does this to me, and he strips me out sometimes where I don't, I have no means. And it was tough. It's tough to swallow because I really thought I was going to get through this month and make it to the spring. And I thought I had this, but he rug pulled me, and he pulled, that gentleman took both, drained all my Cash App card and drained my bank account to zero. So wasn't planning on that this month. So I apologize. I've mentioned it so much this month. So I'm going to make it somehow, some way. God will provide. And if it doesn't happen, then it's just late fees. And I'm sure this gentleman will work with me. I'll call him and tell him that, I got robbed, man. Apologize. I had the money, and I got to wait for this, case to go through. They have the evidence, the charges. I can't actually probably need to do that tomorrow, dispute the charges on the Cash App card. I had to shut the card off, or I have to shut the card off to be able to dispute the charges. I even called them. I'm like, I can't shut this card off. I don't have any other cards. I had to order a card from the bank, and until all that goes through, they takes them, what they said, up to 18 days or something to post the credit for their investigation. It's just a big mess, guys. So I apologize that I've been having to mention this with you guys, but I'm just trying to kick and make it, guys, and do what I can. So I've really been putting most of my treasure, again, up on this internet, just kind of hoping that something will sell, because I have 30 plus things for sale online. It's not like I'm sitting here just trying to grift you, and I'm not the hell, man, there's some crazy noises going on out here. Guys, I don't know. I just had something over there earlier. This whole side of this cabin just rumbled like, whoa. Huh. Like somebody just ran up that deck, like weighed 500 pounds up my deck out there. And I know nobody's out there, That was loud. I could feel it almost vibrating on my feet over here. And earlier we had some weird noises going on over here, like a scratch and then a paper shuffle, or like, I don't know. Strange. Interesting. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go check out and see. I kind of like when I get something makes me, it's my adrenaline flowing. Hold on. I want to go see what was at the front porch here. Maybe there's something out there trying to meet me or something. Hold on, I'll be back. What's up? Hello? People? Are you finding me? People? Huh. All right, I don't see anything out there. That was loud. 2 times in one night. No, the dogs didn't bark. Dogs didn't alert on it. Like they didn't over here. Whenever I heard that, they were just laying there. But that was really loud. What the hell that was? Apologize. That was loud. I mean, I felt that vibration in my feet. I don't know. Some strange stuff going on here at the cabin here today. I don't know what's happening. Interesting. So, okay, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Though I don't know what that was. That was just all of a sudden. I have a metal ramp, like a wheelchair ramp. But it sounded like an elephant ran up that deck because it's aluminum. But I just went out there. There's nothing. I mean, I didn't open the door, or walk outside. But I looked out there. I can see it because the solar lights out there.
I have no idea what that is, and I had no idea what that noise was over here earlier. Did it on the stream. Somebody, I think a couple of people heard it on the stream. I was like, so I don't know. Maybe, yeah, let me get off here, and I think I want to go take a walk outside in the dark. Get the old energy flowing. Get the adrenaline going. No, I love it out here in the dark. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's energy here that's just whatever. It happens every once in a while, guys, out here. I just ignore it, and I don't really care. It doesn't bother me, and it's been here ever since I've been here. Whatever's here or whatever. I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that, but there's definitely energy here, man, and it's wild. I've never felt this energy anywhere. Like I said, I like it. It's old energy. So, but that was really loud. All right, guys, I want to go outside and walk outside. I love being out here in this desert. It's pitch black. You can't see your hand in front of your face, man. If you're afraid of the dark, don't come out to this place. Yeah, you can't see your hand in front of your face out here. So not a place to go if you have fears of things that go bump in the night. Obviously, right? Now I'm going to go out there and have a talk with whatever that energy was, guys. I don't know what it was. What the dog just learned. What do you see there, Pants? The dog's got eyes on the front door now. Maybe I'm going to let these dogs out here, guys. All right, guys, I'm going to go check out and see what this is. See if this old spirit will get my adrenaline going a little bit. Yeah. All right. Much love. Thank you so much, guys. Bless you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Stay in the Word of God. Any day this grid can go down, guys. This could be our last conversation with each other. You know, I love you guys. Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for your support of my work here, and thank you for all your comments, and all you guys are staying in here with me for the long haul. I'll see you on the next live stream. Always agape.